What kind of disgusting, despicable lack of respect is that Billy What's-His-Name show booking a match for the total package Lex Luger and Super Brawl? Super Saturday? What is it? I don't even know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday? Can he afford to pay me to wrestle around? I don't know. I'm one of the biggest legends and stars ever in this. God! And your t-shirts are too tight too, Billy! And you book a match with me against Ryan Killings? Look at me! I'm a total package! I will rip him apart! I'm pissed now!
That still gets me when at the end he's like, I'm pissed now. But
can you even afford to pay me? I don't know. why did you take that booking if you weren't sure?
He's facing Rotten Killings. That's not bad. Oh well. Anyway, guys, we're getting some color. We're back. Welcome back. And we're gonna be we decided to skip ECW because the production value is still kind of low. So we moved on to some WCW Slamboree with the Legends in 1994. But before we get into that, Zach, well, by the way, I'm Joe Dubs, and with me is Zach and Chaz, the Chaz, and then Smooth, and your smooth operator.
I'm the smooth operator, brother.
Yes. So Zach, you said you had some news?
Yeah, apparently it broke middle this week at Brian Pillman Jr. ended up leaving AEW.
Yeah, I heard his contract was up and he just got the fuck out.
Yeah, I guess that's unfortunate, but I kind of get it because he got lost in the shuffle, and I don't know. It's like they really didn't do much with him after they broke up his little tag team he had with Pippi Longstockings over there.
Oh, Jungle Man.
Yeah.
Go to NWA. I think he'd be perfect over there.
Yeah, might be something. That or Impact, I suppose.
I don't know about Impact.
Build him up as the baby face to take down the mighty Tyrus.
Fucking Bully Ray is on his little fucking radio show, like complaining to people like, oh, the story's fine on like the WWE and AEW, while he's doing some fucking wacky fucking Impact shit with like some zombie guy or whatever. It's like some paranormal stuff going in his match.
Well, Impact does paranormal shit now, so
yeah, they kill people all the time. That's just like the routine.
Yeah, the Abyss.
They're not even original. They stole that from Lucha Underground. Mm-hmm. but I want to wish Brian Jr. good luck because I like him and I feel like he kind of didn't really get as fair of a shake. I don't know. They probably could have done more with him. They could have probably nurtured him along a little bit more than what they did, but he's not friends with the right people there, I suppose.
How about go to NXT? NXT is starting to fucking build up, apparently.
I don't know if they'll take him or not. I'd say it's an outside possibility because he's not that old still, but yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah. And apparently, a little short news before we get into this pay-per-view. Warner Brothers wants AEW to do more fucking pay-per-views.
Yeah, they want him to do 12 a year.
That's fucking
well, it's a possibility. It's not confirmed yet.
Okay.
And it's funny. I saw something else about how AEW is implementing like this protocol thing now, where you have to like get permission to do certain spots or moves, or some shit's going to be outright banned now, possibly.
I mean, AEW with all their shit, like I see why, because everything is fucking what do you call it? They're all dangerous and shit. Like Jeff Hardy apparently is going to GCW, not to wrestle, by the way. He's there to go like sign some autographs and then do a post concert after the GCW.
Oh, well, yeah, some of it's that probably, but some of it's also I would hope some of it is for better planning for matches and stuff. Because it's like, I don't know, if somebody's supposed to do a big spot at some point in the show and nobody talks about it, you know, or it doesn't get brought up or something, and somebody else does the same thing later, that's kind of stupid, and that's happened before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I think also it might be something to do with the extension. Like it might be more about them trying to get the like get a better safety protocol in place because very specifically the things they brought up in that long like first off there's like a long list of things that are outright banned now, like they can't do it all, and then there's a list of things they have to get that permission for, and those things are like more conventional things you see all the time on their show, but a lot of it is like certain interactions with the crowd. They have to get permission to make sure they can even go in the crowd. They can no longer spit on people in the crowd, which is a ridiculous thing anyway. Like they shouldn't be doing that. Like no like interacting to like take food or anything from them. Like it's that stuff that like blurs the line, and it really sounds more like okay, Warner Brothers may have stepped in and done some of that. I think the spot stuff is perfectly understandable, though. They have no reason to go out there and be like, you know what would be great? We should bring XPW on live television. Nobody needs to see that shit. It's almost like they watched our show and saw that ECW episode that we had and said, fuck, we look a lot like that. We should probably stop doing this stuff.
One could hope.
I'm pretty sure probably what put them over the edge is when they saw a fucking 60 whatever year old fucking Sting go off the ladder and be like, yeah, we need to stop doing that. we need to not kill an old man, an icon, live on TV, please.
There's all kinds of incidents you could point to, like that. I know that gets brought up all the time. That time Matt Hardy almost died, and that time.
That's like every fucking day, though. Like
that guy's got terrible luck. Well, Jeff almost died last time. It was his turn.
He does it when the camera's off. He's like drinks a fucking whole bar, and he's like, "I'm gonna go for a drive." Because that's a good idea. There's
that time that dude got knocked the fuck out. He got dragged across the ring.
Yeah,
that was another one. I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
but more. There's more than that though. It's just those are the two I always remember because I still can't believe it happened. I was just like, God damn, what are they doing?
And that one guy who like broke his leg and shit. Like I guarantee, like, hey, we got to stop having injuries. We're paying these guys a lot of money.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, well, let's get into the pay-per-view that we're going to be talking about. WCW Slamboree 1994. And it has all the legends, like every single legend possible that you could think of.
Legends.
Yeah, in the beginning, Mean Gene was there. They're in Philadelphia, by the way.
Yeah.
which I found funny because, like, after that infamous ECW thing that we did last episode, and also ECW being known for Philadelphia and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we got a hot Philly crowd here.
They're a little hostile, which is noted by the fucking announcers.
Well, yeah, and then the crowd immediately starts chanting, "We're not hostile.
We're not hostile."
But then later on, they're yelling, "We want
blood." Fucking multiple times they go, "We want blood," like at different points in the match, and then there's a part where they go, "Sting must die."
Yes.
I swear to God, I think someone convinced me that Gladiator was about ancient times, and really, it's about like some true story of some shit that happened like in the 50s in Philadelphia. Because they're fucking savages, man. Like that, and they made the comment right about how they beat up the Easter Bunny, which I thought was funny that he said that instead of saying Santa Claus, because that's the infamous thing. Like the Eagles fans. Also, let's just put it out there: fuck the Eagles, right? FTE. Yes. Yeah, fuck the Eagles. But seriously, Santa Claus, like they threw snowballs at Santa Claus and like beer cans and ice balls and shit. Like they are a fucking hostile group of fucking fans. Like at this point, they're proud of it.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Have you been to Philadelphia?
No, not that shit
trash
hole
over there.
It's really torn because I kind of want to go to WrestleMania 40, but it's in Philly, and I'm like, fuck. I've been to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh seems like it's an upgrade compared to Philly.
It's the only city that I know like celebrates a fucking fictional character as a statue. Fucking Rocky.
Philly's a fucking pit, man. They call Pittsburgh the pit. No, Philly's literally a fucking pit.
I mean, the only redeeming thing about Philadelphia is the television show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and the reason that show is good is showing all the awful things in Philadelphia. So that in itself is just there you go.
Yeah. So Mean Gene was there. He's announcing all the
We just buried Philadelphia for like 5 minutes.
We can go longer. I fucking hate that city.
Fuck that cheesesteaks. Fuck that shit.
How about them Cowboys?
Well,
we're gonna get some hostile fans. We're not hostile.
Mean Gene announcing all the legends. Wahoo McDaniel, Luthez is there. The Crusher.
Oh God, he's putting on the headdress.
Yeah. And does he have one? Oh. And then he says, and Terry Funk. And Terry Funk doesn't come out.
Yeah. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be an angle later.
It's even better. It's not that Terry Funk doesn't come out. It's just that he's announcing it right as Vern Gagne is just standing there.
Yeah.
So it's just like Terry Funk over Vern Gagne. It doesn't make any sense. He's like, whoops, wait a minute.
And then Mean Gene like waits a while, and then he's like, and it's Vern Gagne, and then you just see Vern Gagne's hand like wave in front of the camera as the next guy comes out. There's a lot of legends. I don't want to name them all. And you know, Terry Funk says later, like, they are legends, but I'm the legend. But we'll get to that later on.
Also, Gene fucked up when he tried to pitch to the commentators. He said Tony Schiavone and Jesse Ventura. They would see Bobby Heenan standing there. I'm like, what are you?
I thought Bobby Heenan was gonna go off. He didn't go off on him. He must have been like, oh, it's an actual fuck up. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
He might have just not caught it. Sometimes you can't catch them all.
He probably had a weed gummy or a perk. He was beating up.
Popped a bean, yeah.
So the first was it Bockwinkel? Is that his name?
Yeah, Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah, Bockwinkel comes out with the big gold belt, and Sting comes out in a fucking red blazer, bro. Like it looks sick. He looks big in that fucking blazer too. Dude,
Sting looked like professional 90s as fuck is what he looked like with those big ass sunglasses.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool.
The sunglasses was like the cherry on the sundae there.
He looked like he was on the set of Saved by the Bell for some strange reason.
It's like Bob Barker retired and they replaced him with Sting. That would have been awesome. That's the only thing that would have been better.
Oh man. But this is where we find out. Well, they don't really announce it. They just say that that Rick Rude did an illegal thing, and the board found out that Sting has won the belt, and Sting is like, being the good guy. He's like, no, I don't want to win it that way. I want to win it by a match tonight. And then he chooses Vader. So we're getting Vader versus Sting. But in reality, this is where Rick Rude is career-ending injury done. Yeah.
He had the back injury in the match in Japan with Sting there that they referenced. I think it was like a dive. Like Sting did like a suicide dive, and there's like the ring there was on like this raised platform. It's like the platform's here, then there's the floor down below. I don't know why it was like that, but Rude. Oh, Philly has one other plus. It's easier to navigate than any other East Coast city.
Yeah, that's why there's all the crime, because all the criminals know how to get around.
It's pretty good. It's rough.
City. I hope it burns.
But anyway.
Nobody gets out. I don't want them to die, but it's burn the city. You guys build over. It's fine.
If you got any fans of Philly, just don't take it personally.
No, I don't want you to listen to our show. If you're a fan of Philly, go listen to something else.
Okay, there you go. You've never even been there. Like, I don't know why you're so fucking off. I've actually seen it.
I've been there.
I'm just talking shit. I mean, it's literally from just like the weird, like stupid. I'm a Cowboys fan, so fuck the Eagles, and like I
hate the Flyers, and oh boy, do we get a fucking Flyers guy later.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask you about this guy.
Yeah. My big brother in my fraternity was from Philadelphia, and one time I walked into the fraternity house wearing my Cowboys jersey, and he like made me take it off, and I got pissed. We were drunk, and he and I just got into a fight. Like, he's wearing an Eagles jersey, and I'm wearing a Cowboys jersey, and we just beat the hell out of each other. And then we hugged it out. It was total bro, just dumb shit. And they're like, I fucking love you, even if you're from that shithole. And he's like, yeah, well, you're from a trailer park, so it's not much better. He's like, yeah, I love you too, man. We moved on. That was literally it.
Trailer parks are fucking way better than fucking Philly.
I think I'd rather live in a trailer park too.
Probably like very similar, but like more expensive to live in Philly. I don't know.
You're-
It's probably a nice place. There's probably things that are nice about it. All cities are kind of shitholes, except they can be nice. That's how it is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. But
All right.
like what happened in that match though was like Sting did a suicide dive. Rude caught him. He was standing on the edge of like the platform, or not really the edge, but a little bit further forward. And it's just what that impact of Sting landing on him. Like a 250-pound man knocked him back, and it's like his back hit the fucking edge of that platform, like his lower back, like just above his tailbone. I want to say. And you can see it though, because I've seen some of that match. He was in pretty bad pain, but he fucking still finished the match. He even did a top rope move.
Damn.
Ow.
What a man.
Yeah, and what's funny though is like it was probably like a Shawn Michaels deal, because he was set to return to wrestling like in 1999 when he died. Unfortunately, he just needed some time off, I guess, for his back to heal.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because you said career ending, but he like went back to WWF and was like the heater of the original Degeneration X, but he never like actually wrestled, right? He was more of like the heater, like bodyguard that was there as an enforcer, and then like interfere,
Yeah.
but didn't actually wrestle.
Now,
Yeah.
he did wrestle a little bit in ECW, so he got away with it because it was ECW though, because it's like that wasn't on national TV. So.
Well, yeah, they were letting obese children wrestle, so and fucking New Jack cut the shit out of them like fucking pizza. So
I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, all right.
Speaking of
fucking story, oh my god.
Speaking of obese children, and sorry, I didn't mean to like pin it on this guy because Mick Foley, he's great. But what was the fucking phone thing about where they were like, we must ban fucking Cactus Jack from wrestling? Dial this number.
I don't know.
Story. Yeah, that's so fucking confusing.
The only thing, like I said in the chat, the only thing I could think of is something must have happened on TV that we didn't see. Because we don't have access to it anyway, so fuck it. But like, I'm assuming he did something nuts on Saturday night or whatever.
I'm thinking like at least like they were consistent the whole time, and they just kept bringing it up, and they kept tying it to his match and everything.
Then we saw the match. You're like, do you see what we're talking about now?
Yeah, like they had a whole thing where they're like, well, and they even come out later, and one guy just straight up buries the whole thing. I think it may have actually been Vernon Gunny. Yeah, he's like, this isn't wrestling. They're just out here fighting like a bunch of drunks. Like, you could do this at a bar. They need to go somewhere else. They're ruining our sport.
Yeah, me and Gene had like covered like, yeah, that's what we planned. Kind of.
Yeah. I love it. Bobby Heenan's like, yeah, this is better than the NBA fights. Which, if you know, like at this time, like there's a ton of fighting and shit that's happening in the NBA in the early '90s. They had that weird like strike briefly, but there's just a ton of like infamous fights that happened. They just came fresh off of, like the Pistons. The Pistons were like that team in the late '80s, early '90s that were still like just like the bad boys and were always causing shit. So I mean, this is also like right in that time frame when Jordan retires the first time too. So yeah, NBA was a wild place.
Yeah, I liked watching. Sorry, like getting into the sports arc, but Larry Bird and the Lakers like fighting each other. That was fucking cool. But anyway, speaking of bad, fucking Johnny B. Bad versus Stunning Steve Austin with boy, I couldn't. Dude, he does that in a promo too. Do you notice that? He fucking like
he's always done that in promos. He'll be talking and like he has to like take this breath and, like he's about to fucking collapse. He sounds like the dude from Dark Castle, like every time he falls from like a small height.
He sounds like the fucking cosplay Foghorn Leghorn. He needs to just go the fuck on somewhere. I'm so tired of him on camera, and he's involved in 3 fucking matches, and he had like a bit in between all of that.
Now he's got a stable, and I keep bringing it up. We're stuck with him for at least 2 more years. So,
shit. It's like, what do I want? Do I want to watch ECW, or do I want to deal with Colonel Robert Parker? I don't know.
I'm going to say this, but I'm kind of going to put over this pay-per-view, even though we haven't finished yet. this was a pretty entertaining pay-per-view. Even though there were some matches where I'm like, but like all the others in between stuff, especially with Terry Funk involved, it was entertaining.
Yeah. This match was entertaining too, actually.
Yeah, it was a really good match. Like, as you can tell, Johnny Bennett is like transforming into Mark Merrow before he leaves WCW.
We're seeing it before our very eyes. It's like he's finally getting a more serious run. He's dropped a lot of that makeup. He just has like a little bit of the guy liner anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He spends less time goofing off and taunting. But yeah, it starts out with Johnny out wrestling Austin, and he's like doing like real good mat wrestling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's got a good headlock takeover. I got to give it to him. Or at least it's really good headlock takeover with Austin doing it, because that's back when Austin would just bump his ass off for everybody.
Yeah.
And like there's a part where like Austin backs him in the corner and he like pats him on the chest, like good job, and just pissed him off. Oh, it was good. Then they go back to wrestling again, and then like I think Bad's landed blows and Austin gets control for a bit, and then it shows Sherry Martel out in the crowd. Like they do this a couple times, so I guess she's officially there now.
Every time they do it, though, there's like different people that are in the announce group. So every time they do it, they keep bringing it up, and everyone's like, "Is that Sherry Martel? What's she doing here?" And Schiavone
what's
has
the Ryback doing in the Impact Zone?
Yeah, like Tony Schiavone has to yeah, she's been here all night. We keep talking about it. Like, and by the end, when I think it's Jesse that's the last one that brings it up, and he's like, "Tony, what's she doing here? Who paid for her to come here? Because I know she didn't pay for it." And Tony's like, "Yeah, she's been here the whole time. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. She's here."
She's scouting talent. She's looking for somebody to manage.
I always like one of the Hall of Fames where Steve Austin, he talks about sensational Sherry, like you like had the hots for her. So like when I saw her in the crowd, I'm like, oh man,
she was looking good there, man. She had like her hair was all kind of teased. She had like the glasses on, like the big glasses. They were kind of just barely over her, underneath her eyebrows there.
Mm-hmm. I was waiting for a women's match to happen, and then like her come in.
Women don't exist in WCW right now.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like Missy Hyatt just fell off face of the earth. I don't know where she went. She's gone.
Yeah, it's just a fucking sausage party for a couple years, right?
Fifi's gone too. Fifi the maid, she's gone as well.
Oh, man.
Let's see. They keep wrestling. They're trading holds and reversals. There's like brief bursts of speed between. Keep it interesting. I'm liking Johnny B. Bad's new aggression he's showing in the ring. His more serious attitude.
Yeah, he looks good. Like he is a good technical wrestler in terms of like he's sound, right?
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah.
The crowd keeps chanting Kmart suit Colonel Parker. That's pretty funny.
I think like when that first starts, it's when Austin goes out that first time, and you can actively hear him do that wheezing shit without like a microphone. And he goes, I was like, I'm not gonna breathe now. I gotta go over the game plan, and he pulls him over to the side, and that's when the crowd starts yelling, and he's all thrown off. He's like, oh, I can't believe this. It's so stupid. Like I know I'm laughing now. Like I'm so tired of him being on all the time, but like to the credit, like it is entertaining in small bits. It's just over and over. It's like, God, come on, you're managing like half the fucking roster, dude.
Yeah, he's fucking Tom Green, buffed out Tom Green, bunkhouse Tom Green.
Oh, my buckers on the cheese.
But see, Austin takes control again. He throws Johnny B. Bad out on the floor after beating the shit out of him a little bit in the ring. It's a great suplex from the apron. Does some good knee drops. He's getting heat at this point, and then I think there's he misses like a series of moves on him that opens him up for the comeback, and then Johnny hits like a backdrop. He beels him out of the corner. There's like a knee lift and a drop kick and a clothesline. I'm like, God damn, he just about killed him. And then he gets like an Oklahoma roll on him, which is like, okay. And then like Colonel Parker got up on the apron and was like fucking with the count and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bad grabs Parker, and then Austin swings to hit him in the back of the head, but Johnny B. Bad ducks. He knocks Parker off. Bad hooks an inside cradle. Austin kicks out, and like the bell rang prematurely, and the timekeeper fucked up, I think.
Yeah. By the way, this is where Bobby Heenan brings up the Wahoo McDaniels selling Indian blankets.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard. He's like, Wahoo McDaniel's here. I saw him outside earlier. He was selling area rugs and say they're Indian blankets. I laughed so fucking hard when he said, like, did he really just say that?
He did, and there's the great thing about it was there was a payoff for it later.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, the guy doubled down. He's like, well, then, baby, you'll need an Indian blanket when you're dead. I was like, God damn. He was like low key sell like the fucking smallpox blanket. Shit.
But anyway, like it was like a fuck up, but I think this fuck up actually added to the frantic pace of the finish they were going for there. It aided it. It made it seem more chaotic.
I got confused at the ending.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was confusing because the bell rang, like you said, it was a total fuck up. Like it wasn't supposed to happen, and they basically like reset the same spot and just did it the right way.
no, they didn't reset the spot there.
Oh, well, yeah, it flipped it because Austin's the one that did. Yeah, they didn't reset the spot. I just wonder why. Yeah, I guess it seemed weird. Like it felt like they adjusted it the right way though. I liked it just because like I like whenever there's chaos like that where there's a false finish and then they can move on to something else. But it was a little weird. It definitely wasn't supposed to happen.
Well,
yeah, nobody reset spots back then. So
it's the way Austin was like on top of Johnny B. Bad. Like it looked like he was like sexing him a little bit for a pin.
No, that was in the actual finish there.
Oh, okay.
Which was like Bad went for the sunset flip. Austin kicked out. Then he gets ready to do the punch, the kiss and don't miss thing. Austin pokes him in the eye. He gets him headlock, and then he like muscles him up, or like he's trying to do something, but then like Johnny B. Bad back suplexes him, and he like tries to pin him, but like Austin like shifted his weight, kind of rolled over onto him, and he pinned him there. He out wrestled him. That's what happened.
There's a lot of that in this show, actually. I really liked. There were several finishes where that type of thing happened.
Yeah, like
big fan of that.
Vince McMahon would say he's shooting the half. He's pal. He likes that kind of shit. And I like that kind of shit too. People don't like get those weird aggressive pinfall attempts where they can like shift your weight a certain way and get you.
Yeah, it's almost like actual amateur wrestling. That's exactly how that happens. You know, I don't know what the sport's based on. Man. Who'd have thunk it?
But it was okay though because it was like, it wasn't like he beat Johnny B. Bad like fucking clean as a sheet. It looked like he kind of got lucky a little bit.
Yeah.
So Johnny B. Bad got mad and he punched him in the face and he sent Austin out of the ring, which was kind of funny.
Dude,
the way he sold it, it's like he shot out of the ring.
He like Falcon punched him out of the ring.
He definitely found
pretty good match. It's probably the best match I've seen him have, other than that one he had with DDP. That was good.
Yeah. I liked it because it had a good pace. Like,
yeah,
a lot of what I like to do after watching the pay-per-views, I like looking at other people's reviews. People like, this is so slow, and it was not paced well. It's like, no, this is paced really, really well.
Especially for an opening match.
Yeah. No, that's what I was saying.
Opening match.
Yeah, like between the technical wrestling they did, there was like these bursts of speed. Like they were not fucking slow at all.
Mm-hmm. I gave this a 6.75 out of 10.
Oh damn! You broke the fucking 2 decimal places out. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta get my calculator out.
I gotta get my abacus. I gave it a 6.7 out of 10.
I gave this a 6.9, baby. I was really entertained. I actually really liked every element of it, and even with the fuck up, it was actually a happy accident. I really liked the whole bell going off, and because it feels so real, right? No, it wasn't done, and the ref has to like freak out and tell him, and you can see as that happens, like that's what's actually really cool is they do figure out a way to go ahead and reset what they're doing, but like you said, it's not a reset, right? Like you were saying before, people don't reset their spots. They don't. Like they're not going to just make the same thing happen, but they did figure out a way while the ref is trying to make sure everybody knows the match isn't actually over, like what to go do next, and they go through it. Like it's just it's really good.
Like they reset. They didn't try to set the same spot up again. That's what they did.
Yeah, exactly. Unlike someone else or later who fucked up the spot 2 times. We're gonna talk about that. Man, that was funny as shit. The fucking bunkhouse fuck over there, just messing everything up. But
God damn,
that was real fucking sloppy. But Johnny B. Bad is like very quickly went from being someone that I just did not enjoy at all watching to he's really good. I'm very happy that they have given him a chance to like get out of like the goofy side of his wrestling, like we've talked about, and actually let him wrestle. Like he's really solid. He's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, he went from the bad blaster blasting his face to this now. But fucking Max Payne though. I can't wait to get to that match.
Hey, he did the best thing ever. That little bit of screen time he had, as far as I'm concerned.
He did a better fucking guitar hit than Jeff Jarrett.
Dude, he fucking annihilated.
That fucking thing disintegrated. It atomized and it turned into fucking dust. It's like, what happened?
Fucking Thanos snapped that guitar over his head.
We'll get there. Oh my god!
I watched it like 4 or 5 times. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking rewind. I was like, it was. You ever watch that old Dave Chappelle thing? I'm sorry, we're talking about it. We're here. You ever see the Dave Chappelle thing where it's I think Charlie Murphy and fucking Rick James, where he's talking about how they got in a fight, and he's like, he hit me real hard with some kind of karate shit. He's like, get the shit out of him. That's what I thought of. He hit the shit out of him with that fucking guitar.
It's probably one of the best guitar
to the face.
Yeah. That's got to be one of the best guitar shots I've ever seen, for real, though.
It is. It definitely is. It was fucking great. Oh man. We'll talk about it again when we get back to it. That's how we do it, guys. It's so good. When the good shit's good, we're gonna talk about it twice, maybe 3 times, 5 times, 5 times.
5 times. Okay, now we're gonna reset our spot here.
Yes.
We do a lot of spot resets because I fucking. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a squirrel. My dad might have been the squirrel from Ice Age.
I'm gonna be real with you, Zach. When the legends started talking, I got a little bored because, like,
I hear you, because I was like, I don't know, man. Some of these guys, I know who a lot of them are, but like some of them are just so old and kind of out of it, or like they can't. Wahoo's great.
Yeah, he like when he wanted to wish death on fucking Bobby Heenan with his blanket, like that, this was me watching like when the legends were up, and I was just like, did he just want to kill him?
I stopped typing. I was like, what the fuck did you just say? I had to rewind it.
Deep in character. I really liked. I appreciated a lot of it because this is the other thing that's really cool about wrestling is whenever it does tie into over other sports. Like I always loved it's something about JR. We'll get on the side, but JR always found a way to talk about the other athletics that someone was involved in. He always loved bringing up football, right? He's a football guy. So I always liked that they would do that because a lot of wrestlers naturally would come from other sports, like they're athletes, and then they cross over into wrestling. Well, a lot of the legends that were there, these are guys that were professional football players that then became wrestlers, like Ernie Ladd, Wahoo McDaniel. Like both were, famous, like arguably Hall of Fame level. If I don't know if they're in the NFL Hall of Fame, but arguably could be. And it's great. As I like that they tied that in, but I agree, like just the little banter and stuff, especially when they were doing it like after every match. Yeah, they would give them a little spot, and basically, JR Gene wants to drink with all of them. He's like, hey buddy, you want to come and have a cold with me? And then the one guy's like, we're going to have 12 of them. He sounds like the fucking great uncle from Crusher. He sounds like the fucking old man from Christmas Vacation. I need you to say the blessing.
Dude,
we're going to get 12 cold ones.
Dude, like, he had that cigar in his mouth the whole time. I'm like, that's Penguin.
Where's my stogie?
We're gonna find 250-pound women and fuck them. it's like may as well fucking said that. That's basically what he said. No, I like Crusher because I was like, that guy's got personality, and like they shouldn't have brought everybody out there because, like I was gonna say, is like some of these guys kind of came from a time where it's like you didn't really have to have like a real huge personality or some shit.
You didn't have to talk. You just went up there and just big guys beat the hell out of people. Yeah.
Like Vern Gagne is just straight up, I am a wrestler guy. This is a sport. And Luthez is kind of like that too. But Crusher clearly is like some kind of fucking character. Mm-hmm. And Wahoo McDaniel is obviously a fucking, you look at him and it's like, oh, that guy is like something.
Yeah, it was a little strange. I will say with Vern, the one thing for his that was good is that they tied it into the story of what was going on. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, overall, it's like, well, they did a lot of that. I mean, again, there's the whole thing when they do the ceremony as well. I mean, I know that's part of this, but there's a lot of time that's just given directly to that type of stuff. I'm sure we'll talk more about that bit, but anyway, get on to our... Well,
Ernie Ladd was respectable, but like at the same time, I'm like, did you bother to put on a suit?
No, Ernie Ladd doesn't do shit for anybody anymore at that point. But no, like, yeah, Ernie Ladd was another guy that has a lot of personality too, and he just didn't get to show it, or maybe he just didn't want to. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we got a Dusty promo. He was in Hollywood for some reason.
Yeah, behind a green screen with Hollywood in the back.
Shh. You know what he's doing? He's getting gold dust ready, baby. He's getting gold dust ready.
Yeah. Baby, hey, baby, watch your back. Daddy not there to watch you.
Fucking, I think Dustin's ready to become gold dust at this point. God damn.
Yeah. At this point, he's like, "Are you gonna cut my nuts off so that I can keep wrestling?"
Yeah.
I'll be androgynous.
He says hello to Ray Stevens, and then he has a message for Dustin. He's like, "Life is like a winding railroad. Some keep your hands on the throttle and your eyes on the rail." And I was like, okay.
He's like, I ain't a legend, baby, because I ain't retired yet. I'm in my prime. I'm like, what the fuck?
That did get me. Oh, man. It's like something a 50-year-old man says when he's trying to fuck a 19-year-old. He's like, "Hi, baby. I know a has come and get it." Fucking sweaty titties and shit. Oh man, fucking Dusty, like, what a legend.
Give him that $1 million smile, and he did a weird smile.
silly man.
Yeah. Then we get a surprising match. Like I popped for this match. Terry Funk, Tully Blanchard.
Tully, you got a shirt.
Yeah. Versus Terry Funk. He's there. I was surprised. I didn't know it was like, I thought like he just didn't show up and Mean Gene didn't get the memo.
The music they played for this was like really fucking weird. Like Tully Blanchard came out to like that Basketball Highlights 7 theme that they used for Chris Jericho when he first came into WCW as like a smiley babyface guy. And I was like, why the fuck did they give Tully Blanchard that music?
Okay, I'm actually glad you brought that up. I was curious. This is just for the whole show. Did it feel like there was music that was totally out of place? Like that maybe they didn't even like play it, and maybe there was some type of copyright issue. So then, like now that it's on the network or on Peacock, like WWE had to go back and put something else in place of that and edit it. Because some of the music does not fit the tone at all. It doesn't even sound like it's like for what they're doing. And I don't know. Like some of it, I don't believe that's what they would have played. It's so confusing, right?
They just went with it because some people would remember that because that's Chris Jericho's first WCW theme, and that was something that they used previously. So, but then they've made up when Jim Johnston was still there, I think they had him make up some alternative music. Like the Midnight Express theme is actually from a movie. So they can't play that, or they're afraid to play it. So they came up with something that's kind of like in that vein.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool, but it's not the Midnight Express theme.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, they do that all the time anyway in WCW. Like I always remember, when I was a little kid, I didn't know who Nirvana was, but I knew DDP's
Self
theme
high
song.
five.
So I would hear that, and then later on, I learned what Nirvana. Like I learned about music in general, and I remember hearing, oh fuck, what's the song? Now I'm blinking. What's the fucking song that sounds like DDP's theme?
Fucking Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name of it. I had a stroke.
I didn't know where you were going. Your brain just quit.
Oh yeah, no, I just had a stroke and couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, Smells Like Teen Spirit. It like I remember hearing it, I'm like, wait, is that DDP's theme? No, it doesn't sound like that.
You can thank Jimmy Hart for that, because Jimmy Hart was in control of like all their music production when he came there.
Mm-hmm.
And he started doing things like doing like little homages of popular music. Like Jericho's theme he got after Basketball Highlights 7 was basically Even Flow. It was a version of Even Flow by Pearl Jam.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. I mean, even like again, Johnny B. Bad sounds exactly like a Chuck Berry song at first when it starts. Fucking what's his name? Too Cold Scorpio. His song sounds like fucking Everybody Dance Now as it starts. Like all their music kind of sounds like something, but it's not. It's okay. It's just
fine.
Like, do we have music, Mom? No, we have music at home. We don't need this.
Music.
We're gonna watch wrestling. Music. All right, we should reset our spot.
We're gonna reset our spot right here.
Yeah, next one, baby.
So there's like we also heard like some really loud, awkward throat clearing. I guess the sound channel got fucked up when they were switching commentary.
Yeah.
Gordon Soley's on there now. I'm like, okay, he's here. Tully's looking kind of rough compared to last time we saw him, though. Like he's lost a lot of hair. He's gained some weight.
People still love him. They're putting up the 4s.
Yeah. Then Terry comes out and like he's already acting crazy. And he gets mad and he takes his leather chaps off and he throws them at Tully, who's standing there on the apron. And then Tully's like, "Fuck you," and throws him back at his face and just jumps on him and starts fighting him. I was like, okay, it's gonna be that kind of match. Great.
Yeah. For like what this was out of nowhere, they beat the hell out of each other, man.
This is just a fight. This is the kind of wrestling I really like. I really get into is when it just feels like it's a fucking fight, not like that contrived horse shit where they like set up furniture like they're doing like a Value City Furniture fucking expo or whatever.
Yeah,
or they grab a guy by the head and force him to walk like 100 paces with him, and they can't break out, like that kind of shit. Yeah. This felt like a fight.
And then they talked about like second generation wrestlers and stuff, and like the Blanchard family doesn't want to lose to the Funk family, and vice versa. And I was like, I never knew like there was a Blanchard before Tully.
Yeah. His dad ran San Antonio. They had like a part because Texas was so big. There was like multiple territories in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Funks had Amarillo. They were West Texas. Tully's dad Joe had San Antonio. I'm blanking on the Von Erichs had fucking Dallas and shit. Houston, and somebody probably had North Texas or whatever. I don't know who though. Like I'm sure I'm forgetting something.
Mm-mm.
But there you go. There's a little history lesson.
Well, this was a hardcore match, and Gordon's what was his name again? Gordon what?
Gordon Soley, the dean of wrestling commentary.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome hearing him commentate a hardcore match a little bit.
No, I like him. He's great. He's like. I don't. JR kind of got inspired by him some. For some reason, people compare them, but they're not comparable. He's like really different. Like Gordon Solie is like that really good golf commentator for like wrestling.
Yeah. I got a feel of someone who like announced like a baseball game on the radio.
No, that's a good comparison too. Like a really old style baseball commentator guy.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he sounded like his cadence and everything. Like like not, and it's not like a slight. It's a compliment. If anything, it was kind of refreshing.
Yeah, the suplex.
What do you call it? Bobby Heenan said something funny about like these crazy. I think he was talking about Terry Funk. He's like, he's this crazy Texan. He's like, showing up. Like, I didn't know crazy people show up or something like that.
Crazy people show. If there's something he says later in a match, I wrote it down because it was so ridiculous. But he's kind of right. But so like they pretty much just fight from the word go, and like Tully hits a good suplex. It's a lot of punching, but it's like in a it's not just guys teeing off on each other or trading shots. It's like it's like a fight. You wrestle a guy to the ground and you start punching him, or you fucking shove him and you punch him in the ribs, you punch him in the chest or whatever. They're laying their shots in pretty good too. There's a spot where like I think Tully hit he hit a big suplex on Terry again, and then Terry got up and pulled like a flare, and he like flopped backwards out through the ring. And then he like kind of walked around for a minute, and then Tully started fighting him again. And then Terry somewhere grabbed crutches. I didn't even see him do it, and he just flung them up as high in the air as he could throw them for some reason, just to make it look like chaos. I guess I don't know, but it worked. And then they're on the fucking ramp. And Terry starts beating on Tully, and he's just like, "You son of a bitch!" You can just hear him yell at him. Like it was like a fight scene from a movie or something.
Yeah.
Oh god. Then he hits a couple power drivers. That was awesome. Like he hits him. He does one on the fucking ramp, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like rips a board up from the ring steps. He like grabs a board off the ring steps and just goes. Like cracks him in the head with it, sets it up like a weird little spot.
But he did with the chair was fucking crazy.
Yeah, like that spot's interesting to me because I can't tell if that was on purpose or not. That's the thing. I don't know that it was an accident, just because of how it happened. But yeah, it's just. I think, the ECW, all the crazy ECW people in the crowd are chanting, "We want blood again." So,
fucking, oh man.
And they're chanting ECW too, if you haven't noticed.
So Terry's representing them. So like, yeah, and it's funny because Terry's acting like a heel, basically, coming here, but Terry's a babyface at ECW.
Yeah, but that's okay because he can be a heel because the crowd's also it's a heel crowd. Like they're assholes. They're yelling for blood, so it's okay.
Yeah,
like Brett in Canada.
Yeah, kind of. Shit. But Terry goes outside. Like they just continue fighting. Then at some point, Terry goes outside, gets a chair, and he sets it up near the corner, like you're going to sit in it. And then Tully gets up on the turnbuckle there and acts like he gets Tully up there and he acts like he's gonna pile drive him through the fucking seat of the chair. And it doesn't work. It's like he kind of gets him up and then it looks to me like he slips, but I think it was supposed to happen like that because there's no way you could. I don't think Terry Funk would fucking do that to somebody. But
yeah, I think he does like a power bomb type of thing, or you know how like MJF, what he does, like he puts the guy on the ropes and then does like it looks like a pedigree, and then he like stomps his head on the mat. It's kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah, the heat seeker. You remember his finisher? Yeah,
it's like a heat seeker onto the the chair.
Yeah, it looked like it kind of fucked up, but like Terry Funk is so good at the shit that he does that he comes up with spots where it looks like he fucked up, but it was on purpose. That's why I think that, because he does that kind of thing a lot.
Yeah, it's a Funk and a Heart thing. you're so good at what you do, you can make an accident look like an accident, but you meant to do it the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys that do that shit's like on a whole other level.
Yeah, another guy that does that, believe it or not, like it's actually correct. Christopher Daniels does that with certain spots. Like he will intentionally whiff and botch aerial spots and make it look like he's not falling. The problem is that he also legitimately does like mess up on them, so then you really can't tell if it's one or the other. So it's a little weird, but yeah,
it worked in another way.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the suspension of disbelief, right?
Yeah. At that point, the referee gets mad. He's been getting mad at Terry the whole time because he's just doing so much crazy shit. This isn't supposed to be a fucking hardcore match, and he just kind of like made it one. And he throws the chair out, and then Tully throws Terry out in the ramp, and then the ref is trying to stop Tully, and Tully's pissed off, so he just kicks him in the fucking stomach. It just goes back out there to fight Terry. And it's like Terry grabbed his branding iron. He brought it with him. I guess I just didn't pay enough attention. And he starts beating shit out of Tully with it. He's like wrapping it around his head and like trying to like, I guess, hurt his neck with it or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ref just calls the match off. And like, it's over. Fuck it.
It's a double DQ.
They're out of control. And Terry's acting all crazy after it's over. And he goes to the crowd and grabs some guy's hat and throws it on the ground and elbow drops it and headbutts it like a bunch of times.
And then eats it.
He eats it.
Terry Funk's lost his fucking marbles is what's happened.
He's always lost his marbles. Like,
this reminds me, since we're talking about Terry Funk, I mean, he's already going to be on the show enough. Have you guys seen that clip that was circulating around? It was whenever Terry Funk and a couple other ECW legends are sitting around. They're like talking about something, and like I think it just starts her laughing. And Terry Funk looks at Sandman and he says, "What I want to know is how old were you when you lost your virginity?" And he immediately, without a beat, says, "Well, how old were you when you retired the first time?"
That's pretty good.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh wow, touche.
Yeah, it was pretty great. I saw it like last week, and I was like, man, I got to remember this for the show. So I'm glad that it's relevant. But
good brawl. I don't mind the finish because both these guys are just kind of here for a cup of coffee. They're like Terry's not staying here, and Tully doesn't stay here. I don't know what happens with him, but he doesn't stay.
Cup of coffee in the big time.
Cup of coffee in the big time, brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, it was just an entertaining brawl. I think they just wanted to do like this crowd's crazy. Let's give them a crazy brawl.
Mm-hmm.
they definitely were playing up to the crowd. Like, they need to give them Terry Funk, and this was the way to do it. I agree. Like, the match is inconsequential in terms of what happens if it's a DQ, so it's fine to do that. It is weird that they went ahead and just called it a double DQ, but I guess that makes sense with how it was happening. And I was fine with it. It was a fun, entertaining thing to watch. Terry Funk's a fucking lunatic.
I love watching Terry Funk. He's like one of the most entertaining wrestlers to watch because you actually don't know what he's gonna do. You can't predict what he's gonna do.
He's so unfucking predictable, but in like a good way. Like, he's never gonna do, like, he's so good at what he does. He's never gonna do anything that, like, it's not New Jack unpredictable, I guess is the way to say it.
No.
Like New Jack, oh shit, he just murdered someone.
Is he going to kill it? He's going to kill him.
Bobby Heenan looked concerned at the end of that match when Terry Funk got close to him. I don't think that was like a play or a work or anything. I think he was like, get the fuck away from him. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing too, is like Terry Funk's like a legend in terms of like ribbing people. Like, in the middle of doing all of his other shit, he will intentionally try to like pull a rib on someone too. So he would totally be the person like in the middle of a match, like get behind someone and then fucking pant him. Right?
Then,
so like I kind of get why Bobby's like, oh, fucking stay away from me.
And it just plays to do his gimmick again, where it's like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's gonna do. He's gonna pants me. He's gonna hit me with his branding iron. Oh shit. I gave this a 6.6 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave it around a 6.7 out of 10.
Yeah, I went back to back. I like, and I'm not gonna lie, this is not the only 6.9. I had a couple of 6.9s. So yeah, this is my second one. So we got two nices. I think there's a third one. There's a third nice.
Nice.
Then we go to the back, and there's like an oddly animated Jesse Ventura talking to fucking Ric Flair.
He was weird in his interviews. Like, Ric Flair is obviously a face in this, right?
Yeah, did you see his shirt? He has to be a baby face. I mean,
yes,
that shirt was 90s as fuck.
Yeah, it is. I want it too.
They're playing up to the whole thing. Like, they're doing the Ryu and Ken with fucking Ric Flair and Sting. Like, even like how they're dressed, like they're making them look like, okay, these are the two guys. These are our company's built on these two guys. They're our faces. Like, which is not a bad thing, right? Like, it's literally how the show ends and stuff too. But yeah.
Well, where I was going with this is like, because Jesse later on when he talks to Colonel Parker, he's like excited about who's under the mask, and in this interview, Ric Flair, he like ask him, how do you prepare to someone that you don't know? Then Ric Flair does a Ric Flair promo, which was good. I digged it.
He doesn't need to prepare because he's gonna fight dirty and he's gonna survive again. Woo! And then like Jesse Ventura's like, woo! It's like a freight train went by or something.
I am gonna say this is a dig at Peacock. Like, don't fucking spoil that he's facing fucking Barry Windham. Like, don't spoil that. I read that, and I didn't know there was going to be a whole thing about, he's got a surprise. Why did the surprise the whole fucking time? And they really laid it on thick the whole match.
Yeah.
Or the whole pay-per-view. I was like, well, fuck me. I didn't want to know.
I actually didn't want to message you guys because, like, when I watch it, I'm like, this is, like, kind of a surprise. Like, I don't want to mention it in the chat, but fucking Peacock's like, yeah, guess what, motherfucker? We're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't even read the description. Like I was just like, I'm watching this, and that's I don't really read the descriptions. I just like go to what I watch and watch it. But I will say that is like a really shitty trend on like a lot of these streaming platforms and shit, where they'll have like in the synopsis spoilers, and it's like, what the hell, guys? You could write this shit better. Like that happened in one of the movies I watched that I mentioned actually on the show Tuesday. There was a spoiler in the synopsis. But anyway, Jesse Ventura was acting weird to me because usually he's kind of like more too cool for school, kind of like low key, and he's like acting really energetic, pal. Like somebody must have told him to like, you need to have more energy. Stop acting like you're better than all of us. He's like, I am.
He had a flashback of his fucking Navy SEAL days before he did that interview.
I guess so. We got Larry Zbyszko versus Lord Steven Regal with Sir William. The title is not on the line. Regal,
even though Bobby Heenan like fucking bursted out, Larry Zbyszko can win the belt. Like, no, he can't.
I'm really glad. The moment I heard non-title, I was like, great, no time limit. We're going to see an actual match that will finish in a way that's not going to be super fucky, and it won't be a draw. Hooray!
Yay!
And Larry Zbyszko still got it.
Dude, Larry Zbyszko, man, he looked good as shit in this match.
Yeah, he looked awesome. I can't remember seeing him wrestle that much from when I was younger because I think he was retiring. He was in the process of slowing down. So this is probably one of the last few times. Like, I think he wrestles sporadically over like the next few years that we're watching.
He did some Nitro matches, I believe.
I remember that. Yeah,
he's randomly there, and then he goes to WWF at some point, right?
He did before.
That's what
he did. So he doesn't after.
Yeah, he doesn't go back there.
Who am I thinking of that was with Pat Patterson? It's not Larry. Who's the other guy that like they did the weird, like they did that weird stuff where they would wrestle with like Shane McMahon and his goons.
The Mean Street Posse.
Yeah. You remember who I'm talking about? There was Pat Patterson and someone else.
Briscoe.
Gerald Briscoe. That's what I'm thinking. I never not Larry Zbyszko.
Okay.
I got Briscoe Zabisco. Yeah, sorry, I got them like mixed together. Yeah, it's Briscoe because he's one of Mr. McMahon.
I was gonna say they sound totally different too. Larry Zabisco sounds like he has a brain, and Gerald Briscoe sounds like he lost half his.
Yeah,
I love Gerald. I'm just joking.
Like an Oklahoma Cud's what he sounds like. Yeah, it does. McMahon, Mr. McMahon.
So, I gotta say it because I noticed things like these. Did Regal lose his boots or something? Because they're like a bright cyan color. And it got red trim. And it does not match the rest of his outfit because he's got like the red and blue like that he always does.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Funk took him.
Terry Funk might have stole his boots. I can see that happening.
Okay, hear me out because we don't have an actual reason. They never really explain why Terry Funk didn't show at the very beginning. They just kind of made it like loose cannon. How fucking funny would it be that he just didn't show up, and while everyone was out at the front to like watch the legends go out and watch the start of the show, he was in the back like fucking with everyone's like wardrobe and shit.
Maybe
he's like making stealing people's boots and like took a shit in someone's bag and he's just like fucking with everything. He's like, I'm a crazy old man. No one's gonna do anything with me. I don't know. I think it's funny as shit to think that's what happened, but whatever.
Hey. This match is kind of interesting the way it plays out because it's like Regal spends a lot of time refusing to look at Larry because he's from Philadelphia, I guess.
Yeah. Like, it is strange. Like, it's an unusual amount of time that he spends refusing to look and then like not even wanting to wrestle.
Yeah, it's what also gets me about this is Regal is like acting really awkward. Like, to me, it looks like he's trying to hold a diarrhea shit in, like the way that he's moving around and shit. It's like he's about to shit his pants, so he's doing like the duck walk a little bit.
I do like that Bobby Heenan put Larry Zbyszko over though. He's like,
put him over big, yeah.
You never turn your back on like Larry Zbyszko will never turn his back
on somebody. Yeah, he's like, don't turn your back on anybody in the ring. Larry Zbyszko did, which means he doesn't consider Regal a threat. It was like, whoa. But what I liked about all this was like all this did was just build anticipation for like the first move. Because it's like Regal's being chicken shit, and Zbyszko is like he's like a seasoned pro, so he's not gonna like rush in like a dumbass. So he's just like, I can fucking stand here and waste time too, and that's like basically what he did.
Yeah.
And then he started fucking with him, like actively fucking with him. This is like a case where like the baby face was like actually way smarter than the smart heel was. And, like Regal's collecting all this heat while this is going on, and then when they finally lock up, Zbyszko goes like spinning back kick, and Regal's like ah, and he slides out of the ring, and like that gets like a huge pop. So it's like, see, it paid off. One move gets more of a reaction than when people like almost fucking kill themselves. Now it's just crazy. Let's see. Regal keeps he's still acting weird, and then Larry's like out wrestling Regal. And then everything was great until like there was a couple spots in this match where like the referee is just being fucking terrible. Like Larry put on an abdominal stretch, and he does that thing that heels do where they get the rope and they go, and it's like he's jerking your muscles around and shit, I guess. Leverage. And the referee is like kneeling in front of Regal, and it's like, I don't know what happens. It's like because he's looking at Regal, he gets tunnel vision and he loses all of his peripheral vision, and he can't see what Zbyszko's doing.
Yeah, the second time when this happens, he's not even like leaning down. He's like literally looking like eye contact with Larry, and like his hand is clearly in line of sight. Like there's no way he's in a spot that it makes sense that he can't see it.
He does do the, did you shake the rope thing? And of course, Larry's like, no. And that's what Bobby Heenan's like, what is he going to do? Say, yeah, I shook the rope. I'm sorry. Stupid.
He's like, hey, did you shake it? And he goes, no. And the rope is going, whoa. It's so fucking stupid.
Oh, my God. And then, like, like they show Sherry again. She's out there taking notes, still being hot. So it's like whatever. I just have to mention it.
Is this the time when they mentioned something about her being with? They talk about her being with Prince Charles, and then he makes some weird thing about how he would want to watch her have sex with Prince Charles. And I'm like, God damn it, Bobby! Like you say funny shit, but sometimes you go a little too far. That's fucking weird.
So hey, they all can't be like a home run. So
yeah, it's a little strange.
He hit the bean too hard.
I guess.
That's some good weed. Now there was another bad spot where Larry's got Regal in a short arm scissors, and then like Sir William grabs Regal's foot and he like blatantly puts it on the rope, and the referee clearly has line of sight seeing it. Even like when he lets go of it, he sees the whole thing unfold, and he doesn't even say anything. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy's deal? He's like a goddamn AEW referee. He just sees shit and just lets it go.
Rick Knox.
Fuck him.
Dad.
The anti-referee, it's like when you turn the referee off, except that he's still there in like a wrestling game.
Who was the referee again? It wasn't Patrick, was it? It was a different one.
No, it was what's really funny right now, WCW, is like they have like 3 or 4 referees, and 3 of them look like fucking brothers. They all have like
they all like fucking Kenny Powers.
They have the mustache and the little curly like fucking mullet, and they all have dark hair.
Like it's like a lineup. Kenny Powers' mom's like, I fucked all of them, and they got them all lined up, and they're like, okay, which one is his dad? He doesn't know.
It's really confusing though, because I keep going like, is Nick Patrick just the referee the whole time? No, that's another guy. I'm like, son of a bitch. But no, this was not Nick Patrick, and this was not Randy Anderson. This was like the shitty one. I guess.
Yeah, actually, a callback real quick to one of this match before. I think it was the match before. Yeah, because what's his name was talking. It was Gordon Sully. Yeah. He had actually mentioned something really cool. I like this. I wanted to bring it up. He had mentioned some stuff about the ref. I like whenever they give that other commentary to explain backstory. He had mentioned how Nick Patrick was actually an up-and-coming wrestler and was a good athlete, but he blew his knee out, and that ruined his wrestling career, and that's why he became a ref.
I didn't know that. I always thought it was weird that he was like really tall.
Yeah, that was just really cool to hear. I was like, oh, that's neat. I never knew that.
And I was like, well, that explains why he's just so goddamn tall. Because they don't typically get really tall referees. So it's just...
Yeah, you usually want small ones because you want them to make your wrestlers look bigger.
Exactly.
Like, you don't want some jacked referee to make your guys look. That's why fucking Lil Nate is a wrestler, a good referee, because he's just tiny.
Lil Nate.
Dude, when he ran down the ramp at WrestleMania that once,
he ran fast as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that El Torito? No.
Did he run faster than Seth Rollins did when he did the heist?
Not as fast as Titus O'Neil when he slipped into the ring, but but close.
That's one of my favorite Vince McMahon stories. Is like when he saw that, he thought it was so goddamn funny, he replayed it like 20 times.
100% pure Vince is like there's no way you wouldn't believe that. It's totally true. Vince McMahon, ha 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 ha.
Pal, watch this. You got to see this, pal. But honestly, I'd probably find it just as funny. So
it was funny. It's funny as shit to see. I was like, after you knew he was okay, you're like, did he mean to do that? And he started playing it. It was funny.
I could totally see Vince like doing a PowerPoint for like a meeting and shit, and just him like having the video of Titus O'Neil running under, falling and slipping under the ring.
Oh, at the end of the show, he's at Gorilla. He's got everyone back there watching as the show ends, and they're all just watching it over. He's like, hey, come here, pal, watch this.
My headcanon is that got Titus O'Neil employed for life.
That's how he became the ambassador to the world. They were about to let his ass go, and I was like, nope. He did that, and that sealed it.
He made me laugh harder than I've ever laughed in like 30 years. He gets a job.
So. That sounds like some weird Vince shit right there. It's true. It's like, it's fucking our truth. Like, make him laugh. You'll have a job forever. You may not be champion, but you'll fucking be paid forever.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Where was I? Playing back the referee. Oh, yeah. At this point, Larry starts yelling at Regal. He's like, you're not good enough. And he does the thing where he turns his back on him. And then Regal, this is funny because Regal actually gets mad at this. And he backs Larry in the corner and starts beating the shit out of him. he starts throwing like really fast forward. Like this is hard. I think this is the hardest I've actually ever seen Regal start striking somebody.
Yeah.
So this is cool because it's new. He's a couple European uppercuts, and then he goes for a cover. He hits 2. Regal's got advantage now, and he's just out wrestling Larry at this point because he just stunned him with like that flurry. And then at some point in time, like Larry's able to get away, and he's kind of got his back turned to the crowd out where Sir William is, and you hear him hit him with that umbrella. You actually hear it,
dude.
And I'm like, whack, and I'm like, come on, he's deaf, blind, and dumb. He's all 3. This is what gets referees heat.
Like Kenny Powers' retarded uncle. You know it's not his dad.
But like Larry's like, oh, and he's like kind of like keeled over, and then Regal tries to do like a butterfly suplex or something, but Larry blocks it, backdrops him, and pins him with the bridge, and he wins. And I was like, oh shit! Like that was a cool finish.
Yeah, out wrestled him after getting like knocked the fuck out. It was a really cool finish. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought it was a decent match. It just had some shitty refereeing in it, and that's not any of those guys' fault.
Yeah.
Larry's great.
Unless they had like a way to explain it, like Regal's paying that guy off. but we can't make that up for it. But yeah, what'd you give it?
I enjoyed it because I liked seeing Larry work, and both of them do psychology wrestling, which is neat. Not a lot of wrestlers do it today. And even with the referee being blind, deaf, and dumb, I highly enjoyed it. So I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Nice. Zach, what'd you give it?
I gave us 8. I initially had like a lower score. Like it wasn't like a bad match. But like the referee shit really bothered me in it because it was just so blatant. And it's like you don't usually see stuff like that in old wrestling. So it's like kind of egregious. So I give us a 6.3 out of 10.
Okay, we're close. I had the same exact thought. Like it was good to watch. I actually thought the stuff at the beginning was just a little too long. But it was good for the payoff that you got, but especially because Regal's just for no reason that's explained, he is acting so different than he normally does. It was a little weird, but it built up and then it became a good match, and I really liked the finish, especially how there wasn't someone saying, "Oh, the clock ran out." Like I was really happy with that because poor Regal just gets thrown under the bus with that shit lately. But like the refereeing was just, but I gave it a 6.4. I thought it was a good match. Zbyszko also, like in terms of like wrestlers at this specific time, Zbyszko has like the look for like the wrestling journeyman. He looks exactly like what I would think a wrestler would look like on a poster from like a black and white era, or like a little after that, like early like color, if that makes sense at all. He just has that build. He's built like a fucking fridge. He's not like trying to be like ultra ripped or anything. He's just fucking huge.
Man, he's got that like diaper, the tighty whitey tights thing going on.
He's got the pugilist look. He looks like he just like I put my knuckle dusters on. Like he's just ready to fucking fight. Like I know it's really cool. It's like a badass look. Like my dad kick your dad's ass. That's how he looks.
And Bobby Heenan screams out, "We got a new champ!" And Tony Schiavone just fucking like no tells it.
Yeah,
it was wishful thinking.
Yeah, I fucking love. Bobby made Tony break like 3 or 4 times in the show. I can't even remember. Like there was one time he said something and it was like way off, and Tony was like, "God, you crack me up sometimes. I'm sorry, fans." He apologized to fans because he broke. It was really funny.
I think he said Vern Gagne is the better hair club or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the hair club. He said, "I thought it was Vern Gagne and the hair club for men." Yeah, it's later on, I think, right? Yeah, but he goes, "Oh, fans, I'm sorry." You know, he just like tried to mess with like die laughing.
Yeah. We get the Terry Funk promo. This is where he talks about all the legends. And he says, they're all legends, but I am the legend. And he's just doing his straight up Terry Funk promo.
He's like, I can say whatever I want, and you can't stop me. Nobody can stop me. And he's like, Dusty Rhodes is a lousy egg sucker son of a bitch. And he's like, he says he's going to attack his son or some shit. And he just keeps rambling. He just like goes off the rails.
He takes the mic from him, and he says, no, you can't shut me up. And he just keeps going. He's in the front of him. It's so fucking funny.
And then Gene's like, come back to you guys. I've lost control. And so it was great.
It was great.
And then speaking of great, Colonel Parker's in the back sweating and shit with Jesse Ventura. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, just for people that are following along, they did go to Gordon Sully doing the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we kind of just mentioned it earlier though. So.
Yeah, it's boring.
I do want to say something about that real quick. What the fuck is with those
museum music?
No, I was going to talk about
It's fucking weird. Why were they playing that for every person that came out? That's some weird choice of fucking music.
It was strange. I was going to talk about the plaques they gave them. It's supposed to have like their likeness on it, but they look like really shitty. Like it's almost kind of embarrassing. Like especially like when they gave the Crusher his, and I'm like, is that supposed to be him? It looks like somebody did like a really shitty drawing of him.
The moment they were doing this, I was looking away, and I definitely misheard him. And when he first says plaques, like they're going to give them out, and he's like, "Oh, this is a very special plaque." But he says it, and I thought he said black. Like now it's time to bring out the. He says plaques. I thought he said the blacks, and I was like, "What?" And I looked up, and I was like,
Ernie Ladd.
Well, that's what I was thinking. They hinted earlier that Ernie Ladd was going to get something special, and I thought that's where they were going. And I was like, "That's fucked up. Why'd they do it that way?" They already did like the Indian blanket thing. I'm
This
this
is a very special black here. He's
that's what he's like showing the plaque off, and I'm like, okay, I'm so happy that's not what happened. And I was like, fucking Colonel Parker must be involved in this. And then, of course, he's in the very next bit.
I got these boys. I found them outside behind my barn.
Their
name's Colin Kane.
You know what's weird? Like Harley, like in the 90s, like the kayfabe shit is not as like broken as it is today. Like we know that they're all playing characters and shit. And then when they do the Hall of Fame speeches, everybody's like chanting and being all friendly. But Harley Race is there, and he's in part of the Hall of Fame, and people like they're chanting and they're like booing him and shit because Harley Race is the heel. And I thought that was interesting. Like he like stood there and like he had to not feed into like he was like still like fuck you crowd.
He was like, yeah, I did it, and then. He did get some cheers though. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, he did. He did get some cheers, but like obviously fans were still being fans. Obviously.
Yeah, I think it's just because they respect Harley Race so much. So it's like when you get to that level, it's like you could be a smart ass and like just react however you want. But like when you get to like that level, you're gonna give them the reaction that they want. So, but yeah, like. They were talking about his mystery man and shit, and he gives a couple hints. He says he's 6'7" and all this other shit. And I saw that clip of him they showed where he was attacking everybody, and I was like, I was trying to think of who that could be. I was like, maybe that's Barry Windham. I did not even fucking read it. I swear, because I was like trying to think of who has that build, who is that tall. Who moves like that? I'm like, probably
Mark Calloway. Oh wait, that's with the WWE.
No. Steve Blackman. No.
Steve Blackman. Sid went away to go play baseball, right? Or softball, or whatever his shit was. Yeah, he's gone for a bit.
No, Sid got kicked out because he tried to stab Arn Anderson with scissors.
Oh shit, there's a scissor incident. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
That's why Sid disappeared so suddenly.
He didn't try. He fucking did stab him with scissors in the hotel. Yeah.
Okay.
Fucked up shit.
I couldn't remember if he got him or not.
Oh, no, he definitely did. Yeah, they fucking beat the hell out of each other. ECW ain't got shit on whatever happened in that hotel. They nearly killed each other.
Whenever people tell that story, they just talk about how ridiculous it is that, like, Sid went to get a weapon, and he came back with scissors. Oh shit! He just grabbed the first thing he could reach. I guess that's what it was. He found his toiletry bag was there, and his scissors was out there. And he grabbed it.
Oh my god! I got scissors.
I got scissors. 61. No, we got Dustin Rhodes versus Buck Omega in a bull rope match.
Buck Omega.
I know you keep saying he looks like Tom Green. God damn it, he looks like Kenny Omega's dad. They have the same kind of face.
He does look like Kenny Omega. You're right.
And it's just like I said, he looks like Kenny Omega's blue-collar dad who works on the farm, and he doesn't understand his weird weeaboo son. That's what he looks like.
He keeps wanting to watch that Akira.
Oh man, I was about to make that joke. I was about to. He
keeps going on about. He keeps going on about the end of Evangelion and the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Something about cloud strifes or whatever. I don't know. There's not much to say about this match just because of the way that it went.
It's poor Dustin. Like when we started watching him in WCW, like he was the shit, and
he was one of the best performers they had. Like it's like when we first started watching this, it was like Sting, Vader, whatever Cactus was doing, and Dustin. If like those four guys were doing something, it's like, well, whatever it is they're doing, it's going to be good or at least interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the sad part is like he's still working his ass off, right? Like he's still doing what he needs to. It's just he's just stuck with shit. Like he's just having to work with it. Poor guy just got he just got cursed, man.
I just don't like the gimmicks. We had the bunkhouse brawl, which the bunkhouse guy with the name won, and then he's doing this cowbell shit, and I'm just like, I checked out. Like literally when I was like, this match again. I don't fucking care about this match.
So, like, this is different from the bunkhouse match because of the bull rope thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, so this is basically this is all that I wrote. Is like he hits him in the nutsack twice and starts beating the shit out of him with a cowbell. And this is where Bobby starts going on this tirade, talking about how ridiculous this match is. And he's like, and people in Texas. And he goes, could you imagine what people do out on a ranch? He's like, I'm mad at you, Slim, so we're going to hook each other up with a bull rope and go out into a meadow and bash each other in the head with a cowbell. And he's like, why not have a guy run up behind on a horse and hit you in the back of the head with a wooden board while you're at it? He's like, it's in the water, Shivani. He starts yelling.
That's when he gets me to cry. This is the water, Shivani. This was a good fucking line.
Because he's been talking about how people from Texas are like crazy or some shit in the entire show.
Bunkhouse Buck like ties Dustin, like he like goes under the rope around the turnbuckle and like ties Dustin up, and like both Shivani and Bobby Heenan are like, what is he doing? And like Bobby Heenan's like, I think he's tying him up, and Tony Schiavone's like, yes, he is. He's tying Dustin to the turnbuckle. Great strategy. And I was like, this is trash.
God, dude, I was wanting to so remember the first match they did?
Mm-hmm.
You guys didn't like it as much as me, but like I thought that one was a fun brawl.
Yeah, that was more coherent than this one.
Well, it's weird because like in theory, this should have played out pretty similarly, or had like the volume turned up a little bit in terms of like the violence level. But that's not really what happened. It was like more tame than their first match. And then Philly was wanting blood again, and they weren't getting it. And this was a match where somebody probably should have got blood.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, the momentum shifts. Kenny's dad pulls Dustin's shirt over his head and then beats the shit out of him on the back with the cowbell instead of hitting him in the fucking head for some reason. And I don't know what's going on, but like this whole match, there's like this avoidance of hitting people in the head with the cowbell. And I'm like, it's a big metal box, and you can like hold it in your hand like a brick and hit some fucker in the head with it.
Yeah, I would think Dustin would want to do that and like open up Buckhouse Bunk, but I guess maybe because the other matches were happening, they didn't want to bloody Matt.
This is like the same principle when people do the baseball bat shit, where like they don't know how to work a baseball bat, they suck at it, so they always do like that really shitty gut shot. Or the worst thing they do, Jericho's really bad at this because he just has no experience using the fucking baseball bat, I guess. He'll do the Triple H thing with the sledgehammer and like hit you with like his fist in the stomach with the baseball bat covering the bat. And it's like, what the fuck kind of sense does that make? Hit him in the back, hit him in the leg. Fucking like, it's like the chair thing too. Like, oh, I gotta hit you in the stomach in the back of the chair. Put your goddamn hand up, or just don't use it. Fuck. Don't have a blow-out match with a big fucking cowbell on it and not hit a guy in the head with the metal brick. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And then there's like the violence just feels really neutered in this, and it's the pacing sucks, and it's just dragging on. And Kenny's dad doesn't fucking sell anything. Like Dustin's like hitting him and shit, and it's like every time he hits Kenny's dad, he just kind of like stands there and takes it, or like it barely registers. It's kind of like when Ric Flair is hitting, spoiler alert, Barry Windham, I guess. But the difference is Barry Windham's like this really big guy, so it makes sense that sometimes his hits just don't register.
Yeah.
This guy's like the same size as Dustin. Dustin gets the passion of Dustin for 10 minutes. And then the finish happens where Kenny's dad, he hits Kenny's dad with cowbell, even though he clearly just smacked him with the rope. They said he hit him with the cowbell, and he pins him for 3. And this match was not good. I don't understand why either, because their previous one was actually kind of fun. This one just fucking sucked, and it was sluggish, and it seemed like neither guy really cared to do it.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
3.2 out of 10.
I gave it a 3 out of 10. I checked out literally in the beginning. And the only reason why I got a 3 is because Bobby Heenan is fucking hilarious.
So
Yeah.
I just had to spend time while we guys were talking about this too, just trying to figure out how this person got into WCW too, because it honestly feels sometimes like they went out and just picked out a homeless person.
That's his brother. That's fucking Colonel Parker's brother.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's actually his legit family. Yeah, they are from Bucksnort, Tennessee. Can't even make that up. That is the name. But yeah, and spoilers, they actually or he actually becomes a tag team champion in WCW later.
That's wild.
With Dick Slater.
He's like such a like mediocre wrestler. Like okay, I've only seen 2 matches. This one sucks. The first one was, I thought it was decent, but like, so I don't know how to judge this guy. Like him almost not selling anything this entire match was fucking terrible though.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5. It was rough. I guess I was nicer than you guys about it, but yeah, it was just a rough match.
When shit gets really bad, or people like clearly don't sell things and they act like they don't care, it like really fucking bothers me.
Oh no, he's the fucking Horace Hogan of this situation, right? Because he's only there because Parker's there. He's like legit just there because family is there too, and he's doing other stuff, and he's like here, and they're like, oh, we'll give you a chance, and he can't fucking wrestle, and they're like, you got to do it. He's retarded. You can't like, he's disabled. He needs this. He can't make money anywhere else. He's gonna fucking walk around with a shopping cart like a radio or something. Like,
I remember
you gotta
Horace
get something to
Hogan
do.
shaved his
Horace.
head.
That's not real mean.
This
Okay.
reminded me though, like real quick, because I have this compiled in a Slamboree file where I'm just going to continually add to it each time we watch one. In the previous year, there was a match really similar to this. Not the stipulations and shit, but the same kind of thing I'm talking about. It was Sting versus Nails. You fucking remember that, Dubs?
Yes.
That match was fucking terrible because a similar thing happened. Where like Sting had to fight fucking Nails. He was called the Prisoner. And yeah, because they can't call him Nails, but everybody knows what it is. And Nails almost no-sold all of Sting's fucking offense. goddamn Sting. And you could tell Sting was pissed off, and he finished the match. He just did not look happy.
Mhm.
It was like, this gave me like similar fucking vibes.
Yeah, and then of course after the match, immediately Terry Funk comes out right after it ends and just just waylays the shit out of Dusty. I laughed so fucking hard when he hits. I'm like, God damn, he came out of nowhere, and immediately I had that same feeling of the fucking Charlie Murphy. I kicked the shit out of him. Actually, this is the first time technically in chronological order.
Yeah.
And they're like beating the hell out of him, and then they go for that god awful spike pile driver, and Bunkhouse Buck doesn't know how to do a pile driver.
Yeah, it's like he's like,
it is very evident he does not know how to fucking do it.
he tried twice and he couldn't. It's like he didn't have the strength to fucking hold him or some shit. And then you hear Terry go like, "Move." He just tells him move. He just starts tapping.
And he throws like a gut kick. Yeah, he's so mad about it.
And Dustin bleeds. Like, there's no blood in the match until this.
Yeah. The thing about this, the trajectory of things, this man on a pay-per-view, right in front of everyone, shows he can't even do a pile driver. And he gets to stay in the company for a little while longer, and he even gets a title.
Like, in theory, like, I don't know. I've never done the move, but I feel like in theory that should be like a fairly easy move to do.
Yeah, well, it takes two people. It sounds weird to say that, but like, I mean, obviously, but like the other person has to like distribute their weight in a certain way when they come up. So it's just like anything else, right? Like that, like people look at it like one person is just overpowering, and sure, sometimes it is actually that, right? Like Ryback, I know we were talking about him earlier. Okay, yeah, he probably is just fucking press slamming people. But a lot of the time, it's actually another person doing all the extra stuff and shifting their weight the right way to make it happen, right? That's the whole point of it.
It's like the Steve Austin Johnny B. Bad headlock takeover.
Yeah.
What that is.
Exactly. So that's the same thing here. Dusty has to get his weight up, but then, or Dustin has to get his weight up, but then Buck has to let that settle on himself, and then he has to be able to actually hold him. And what I wondered too is that at one point he actually has him up, and then he lets him go. It almost seems like Dustin comes down. So I don't know if it's that he doesn't know how to do it and he like loses strength, or if Dustin decided to back out because he's like, I'm not letting this guy drop me on my neck and kill me.
Or he's just mad and he's like, "Fuck you! I'm not gonna let you power drive me."
I mean, I just wondered if it was one of those things. And then, of course, Terry's up there like, fuck this. And he just jumps down and kicks him. He's like, I was beat the shit out of him another way.
Let's do more Terry Funk lore. You probably watched this backstage and he's like, there's no fucking blood in this match. I'm gonna go down there and make him bleed.
And then he gets cheers. Like, he attacked the babyface and busted him open, and everybody was like, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he did tell everyone he was going to do it like right before it happened.
And he kept his word. That counts for something. My immediate reaction, though, when he came out was like, wow, I would have much rather seen Terry Funk versus Dustin.
Yes.
Oh, my God, that would have been so much better, right?
Could you imagine them having that same match? The same stipulation and everything.
Why didn't they do that? That just makes so much. It just like nepotism's a thing, right? But like whatever, like it actually would have been so much better of a match. Like that's not the slight Tully, but yeah, Dustin and Terry would have beaten the hell out of each other, and there'd have been so much blood. Like the
story's there.
Exactly, because Terry's Funk is always looking to try to beat up Rhodes.
Yeah,
shit. He'll beat up the son of a carpenter, as he said.
I don't know. Imagine it would have been funny if like he beat up Bunkhouse Buck and be like, "This is my match now." And he goes fights Dustin.
Oh, he would have been like the biggest baby face in the arena. I mean, he basically was anyway, I guess, except for the Ric Flair and Sting later when they stopped wanting Sting to die.
Oh yeah, they kept yelling, "Sting must die" or something like that.
Yeah, at first like the crowd hated Sting. And then Sting reminded them that he's like good, so they stopped.
Yeah, it was actually really funny. I was like, "Fuck!" They want him to fucking die.
It's like, why do you not like Sting? Like, what the fuck?
Fucking weird ass fucking Philly crowd is what it is.
Like I don't get it because like Sting was always a good wrestler. It's just strange, but
I think it was one of those like they're like the asshole crowd. Like, I don't think it had anything to do with Sting. It was just Vader's here. We want to see Vader kill someone. It's literally all it was. They were also coming off of that, like, just absolute clusterfuck of a bully match or whatever it was called. So they're all, like, jacked up on their weird adrenaline rush. Oh, man.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, soon. We're going to be there real soon.
I just want to bring this up because Mean Gene is having more legends on there. How do you say this guy's name? Red Bastien?
Bastien.
Red Bastien, who no longer has the red hair.
Yeah, and Ray Stevens was there. And I like that Mean Gene is like, oh, you've been watching this pay-per-view. Do you feel like you want to wrestle again? And both of them just say no.
And the one's like, I'm old as shit. I don't want to wrestle.
Yeah.
That's Ray Stevens.
Yeah.
Right here in Huntington, West Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's from here.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. Well, the funny thing is, I hear the name Ray Stevens, I instantly think of the musician.
Yeah.
That's who I think of. I think of the guy that wrote The Streak and the fucking squirrel in the fucking church and shit like that. I remember having those as a kid as a VHS. That's who I think of. I didn't know this guy was a thing, and then I heard that. That's neat that he is from Huntington.
I used to think that too, but then like Ray Stevens got hammered into my head so much as like how good of a wrestler he was and like all the crazy spots he invented that people copy and still do to this day. That now that guy is what I think of immediately.
That makes sense. Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you live in there, like being from there too, that makes a lot of sense.
It's
That's really cool though.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, a legendary, like actually influential wrestler is from my hometown. Like a lot of those spots, like what I mean is like, you know, the shit where like somebody hits a turnbuckle and flies over it to the outside or something like that. He's kind of the guy that came up with those spots originally. Stuff like Ric Flair does in this match that's coming up right now.
But at the end of the match with Dustin, Bobby Heenan says he's going backstage because he needs to go find out what Terry Funk is doing. So we get Jesse the Body Ventura on commentary with Tony Schiavone for this Ric Flair match, which you know kind of makes sense because he's like was trying to like get Colonel Parker to say who the guy is, and I was like, that makes sense to put Jesse there, I guess.
What do you think about the rotating commentary? Because they're not it's not like a fucking 3-man Hydra booth, you know.
I like it.
I kind of like it when guys switch out, but it's always just two guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
as long as those two guys like play like chemistry well with each other. I also like that they always had a reason to switch them out. Like I think that was a cool thing. Like they don't have to do that, but it's a nice little thing. Oh, I'm gonna go check this out, and then he leaves.
Yeah.
Versus it being like he just leaves and then like the next match it's just unexpectedly someone else or something. So
probably taking a shit and smoking some weed.
Bischoff's here.
I mean, they talk all the time about how like, you know, the biggest problem is always like having to take a piss because they're like full of fucking weed and coffee and booze and other shit trying to do their job, and they try to piss right after. But like you've already broke the seal, you got to piss like a third of the way into the garden. You got to hold it. So
I imagine Vince just screaming in the air, "Piss your pants, pee!" Like he said. By the way, rest in peace, Draws. By the way.
Oh yeah, puke.
Yeah.
He's gonna puke.
Yeah.
God damn.
So Ric Flair comes to the ring, and then Colonel Parker comes out, wiping his fucking sweaty fucking face with his handkerchief. Takes the mic from Michael Buffer, and he's like, coming at 300, 600, whatever his fucking pounds are. And, 6'7", whatever. And then he comes out of the ring. It's Barry Windham. Now, I have to say, he gained some weight, right? He looked a little chubby.
Yeah, I was going to say, Barry looks like he's 40 pounds heavier than he was last time.
Looks like he was eating a whole Roy Rogers menus. It's just
he's got that Conan the Barbarian haircut back too.
Yeah.
They said he had a knee injury or something, so I guess it kind of makes sense why he's out of shape a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got blown up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Barry and Flair go at it. They don't waste any time. And Barry is like I referenced earlier. He's kind of like semi no selling Flair's offense. It's like occasionally the hits register. But Barry eventually just goes, fuck you, and just does like one of the best body slams I've ever seen. Like the way he picks Flair up and just lifted him over the top of his head and flung him down. And that's like, goddamn, that's like a 7-foot drop for a body slam. And then Flair starts to come back a little bit. He's chopping stuff and he's working the knee. But Barry levels Flair with a big-ass clothesline. He throws Flair out and throws his head in the railing out there. And he does a big suplex from the apron. And we've talked about it before. Barry Windham's suplex is like one of the best because it's like it's so smooth and it's like that huge height you fall from. Guys that big typically do not do suplexes. So, like, I didn't really think about that before until like I watched this match. I was like, well, that's probably why it looks so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you ever see The Undertaker do a suplex? I don't remember him ever doing that move.
No.
So, like, it's comparable to that. Barry keeps momentum for a while. He's wearing Flair down, and Parker's like running the interference out there on the floor. Is shit, kicking him. He gets Flair in the corner, back in the ring, and Nate hits an atomic drop. It's not a Rick Rude sell, but he did sell it. We won't get that anymore, unfortunately. If Flair tries to go to the top, but then Barry stops him, it's superplex for 2. And then Flair gets up, he gets Windham down, puts him in figure 4. They do this thing for a while where like Flair keeps putting him back at it and Barry keeps breaking out. He's like, because he's too tall, it's like it's easier for him to get to like the ropes. They keep fighting. They're out on the floor again. Flair's got the advantage now. He goes to the top rope and hits like a Ricky Steamboat like flying chop, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then they do that spot. Flair hits a crossbody on Windham, like running at him, and they do think they both like flip over the rope to the floor. There's like a bit of a delay though, I guess, that time because of the height difference. It made it look kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Flair tries to get up and he just flops. It was just funny. There was no like walking. He was just like,
He falls.
I've been trying to practice that flop, by the way, because I noticed that Ric Flair, he puts his arm out before he when he drops.
He puts his arm, yeah. Parker tries to interfere again, but Flair just like decks him, and then like Barry's back in the ring at this point, and then Flair does a sunset flip, and then Parker manages to recover in time. He grabs Barry's hands, they're holding him. He almost gets 3, but the ref catches it and like kicks his arms out. It's like, stop this shit. And then there's like a near fall exchange there very briefly. They fight in the corner for a second or so. Barry shoots Flair off the opposite side, and he does the flip over spot. Runs the other corner, gets up on the turnbuckle, does a crossbody, and gets 3. Like, the last time Flair won with a crossbody? I mean, as far as I know, at least, I think it's when he beat Harley Race at Starrcade.
Yeah.
The callback, I guess. It is a bit random.
I like it though, because it's like, okay, because in your mind, it's like you've seen several Flair matches. And it's like, I know he's a babyface right now, so it changes the rules a little bit, but the rules still apply. What always happens to Flair when he goes to the top rope? He gets stuffed.
Yeah, they usually hits the ropes and he hurts his nuts or something, or like he gets thrown off to the side.
They
like,
grab him and he's like, no, he doesn't know, and then they throw him across the ring.
Yeah. I love this match because everything hurts. Like when Ric Flair does a suplex, he hurts his back. He's still selling that back injury.
Yeah.
And like when, close calls that usually happen, like in today's thing, like if you see like a drop kick, or if you see like a top rope thing, or a suplex, a German suplex, it's like an everyday move kind of thing. But like when you saw this match between Ric Flair and Barry Windham, everything was close. Like it was a 2 count kind of thing. And I dig that. I kind of didn't like that Barry Windham was like, even though he's a big guy, I still think he needed to sell some of the stuff. I thought it was a little bit weird at times. And he is a little bit slower because of his weight. But I was still excited to see him because, you know, I always put him over in my ratings and stuff. But I had a fun time watching it. I would have done the reveal fucking cooler. I would have had him come, you know, to the ring with his motorcycle and still had the mask on his face. And then he did like a DDP. Remember when he was the stalker with Undertaker and he just takes off his mask in the ring? Yeah. I
mean, at least
that.
he didn't come out in a fucking stormtrooper helmet. I mean, we're
yeah.
Like we've been way worse. So this isn't terrible.
Yeah. I gave it a 7.2 out of 10.
Oh, I give it a 7.1 out of 10. I don't got much else to add there. Barry seems to work just like he always did. He's just like a hair slower than what he used to be. So,
yeah,
still good.
I was just a little tired of, again, small gripe, very, very minor gripe, but just, we've had Colonel Parker out there for 3 matches. Just, like, I'm just a little tired of it. But it was a very solid match. This was my third 6.9. This is my nice. So, it was my 3 nices.
Nice.
All 3's been given out. Tell you what wasn't nice is the next one we're about to talk about.
Oh, well, before we do that, they announced Bash at the Beach. Bobby Heenan was with bikini women. It was funny.
Mean Gene was like, I hope we can get some of those young ladies back when we do Bash at the Beach. I like how his personality is just like, he's like a horn dog.
Yeah, you can't get me out at the beach. The women always get me. Remember Tony? And he's talking about fucking.
It's funny. Well, at least Jesse Ventura is like a goddamn movie star. He's got a little bit more clout than Okerlund. He's like, I'm a Navy SEAL. I beat up Hulk Hogan. I was in Predator. Like, he can say all that shit. Like,
yeah, he just seems like a fucking pervert. Yeah. He does. He's like a fucking pervert.
Oh, yeah, I know what happened to Fifi. Sexual harassment after fucking Mean Gene.
She's still locked in his fucking basement. Is what happened.
Damn.
Housemaid for life.
Headcanon for life.
Yeah. Another Mean Gene. Yeah, dude, that plaque, dude. I'm looking at a picture of the plaque with the Crusher. Oh my god,
really shitty.
Terrible. He's with Don Curtis and the Penguin, which is AKA the Crusher. And he still has a cigar in his mouth, and I just thought it was funny. And,
did you also notice he had like 4 of them stuffed in his breast pocket?
Yep.
That guy must chain smoke cigars. I don't know how though, because like whenever I smoke like a bunch in succession, I feel sick.
I mean, it's just a tolerance thing. You do enough of them, you can keep doing them. But fuck, it is rough. I barely finished like half of one, and I feel nauseous. I
never had one, so
they're good, but like I can only usually do one, and then I'm like done.
No, this man's hitting him hard again. He's like the old man. He's like, fucking, you say grace.
Say grace.
You have to say the blessing.
Spider-Man. No.
Spider-Man.
Can I get Spider-Man? Chocolate. I was there when they invented chocolate.
I always hated it. I've said that line like 3 times this past week for unrelated reasons to this, but that's so fucking funny. Chocolate.
So I did want to bring this up because this is in my note. Gene also invites the Crusher out for some beers and some polka, and the Crusher likes the idea and hopes that there will be large women involved.
Yeah, that's something. He talked about it. He's like, yeah, we got some 250-pound women and fuck them.
That's like basically what he said. It's like, damn, he likes him.
Husky.
He likes him a little hefty, I guess. That's okay.
Chubby chaser.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Sullivan, Cactus. What's up?
I just wanted to talk about Dave Schultz because we have a referee who is a hockey player. Dave Schultz is a Philadelphia Flyer player. He won the Stanley Cup. He was a big problem for the New York Rangers because the Broadway Bullies is what the Flyers used to be called. So because they're in Philly, he is the guest referee, and he's a terrible referee. Like he was only there for that spot.
Well, in all fairness, it is a street fight, though.
Yeah.
It's like, what do? You just kind of stand there and just try to count a pinfall.
Yeah.
But like, when did this guy play? Like, I don't know anything about this guy.
Like, in
early 80s.
Early 80s.
Okay, I heard David Schultz. I'm like, Dr. D. David Schultz. Oh, never mind. I got like really.
I thought at first when they said it, and then they showed it was this NHL player, and I was like, oh, it's the Goon. So he's like the original guy that like really made like the whole fighting thing. Like he was the bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's why they keep referencing it during commentary later on. Like he was just infamous for like stirring shit and causing people to fight all the time. And
yeah, he said he did a promo where he's like, none of these guys are gonna do a fast one on me. I'll punch him. he sure does punch him later on.
That was like the best part of this match.
Yeah. So we got the Nasty Boys and Kevin Sullivan, the guy who booked his own divorce.
That's pretty great. I've never heard it put that way before. That's pretty great.
Yeah, fucking the Booker man, as it were. Fucking.
With Cactus Jack, and he looks fucking cool, by the way, with his leather vest and shit.
He's a little more grungy now. Could say ECW influence, I guess.
And I guess he's not banned because I don't know what's going on with that.
So this is a street fight. They call it a brawl thing, and like all this is this is an ECW tag team brawl with a budget and multiple cameras. That's what it is.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. I gotta bring something up.
Okay.
Because I couldn't figure out why Kevin Sullivan was like with Cactus Jack randomly. You guys have to know this because you're gonna fucking love it.
Okay.
Because it's also relevant. All right. So Sullivan came back in early 1994, and initially he was teaming with his kayfabe brother Dave Sullivan, who was a dyslexic character who was being picked on by the Nasty Boys at house shows.
What?
That guy that comes out that looks like fucking I thought it was the fucking Equalizer.
Dave Sullivan. They're like, oh, it's his brother.
Yeah, it's his brother who's dyslexic, and the Nasty Boys are making fun of him for being dyslexic. So then Kevin's like, "No, you don't do that. Don't pick on him." And then he ends up getting paired with Cactus, and they work together. And yeah,
so, the joke you made earlier about Horace being retarded basically happened.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
So and I gotta say this. This is ridiculous. Kevin Sullivan was the guy who ran the satanic cult in the Florida territory.
It gets so much better. I'm just going to tell the whole story. I don't give a fuck. Okay. We're going to see it play out. So Sullivan gets the Cactus. Dave, meanwhile, is injured and out for a while. And then Sullivan and Cactus lose the titles. They have a falling out, and they fight. And they actually have a loser leaves WCW match at Fall Brawl later this year. And Sullivan actually beats Cactus.
So that's his exit.
Dave comes back later, but dresses like his idol Hulk Hogan. Kevin is infuriated that his brother likes him, and they feud, and it's what drives him crazy to then become the character to take down Hogan in the faces of fear.
I can't wait for this.
Because his brother idolizes Hulk Hogan. His retarded brother loves Hulk Hogan.
I can't wait for this.
It's the best fucking story ever.
It's kind of like that.
His dyslexic brother, but they also make him play out like he's stupid. Like they make dyslexia seem like he's retarded. Like they even say like he's got a severe disability. He just has fucking dyslexia. Like don't get me wrong. Like it can be like difficult at times and cause problems, but like it's not like he's like completely crippled in life and can't have any skills. Like they're playing it out like he has Down syndrome or something. Fucking
Yeah.
oh, dude, that is like the best thing I've ever read on Wikipedia.
That's like some
Thank you
White
for that.
Castle. That's some White Castle of Fear level shit there. So
Yeah.
and hey, I won't lie. I've been looking forward to when we can see the Dungeon of Doom and
Oh, same. Oh, I totally.
Dark Side Hogan and all that shit. Oh my god.
That's why I looked it up. I wanted to know that about Sullivan, but I also was trying to remember exactly what his names and stuff were. For some reason, Taskmaster came to mind. I was like, well, I don't think he was named after the Marvel character. It's just the Master.
I thought they called him the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan.
That's what I thought too. But I looked at it and it just said the Master when they were referring to the Faces of Fear. But maybe he just had that name another time or something.
Maybe we're bare staining it. Like
we could be. We'll see. We'll have to just wait and watch. I cannot wait till we watch the bit where Hogan gets teleported out of nowhere. That is going to be an episode for the ages, people.
It's one of my all-time favorite wrestling segments. It's like you thought Shockmaster. This is like 10 times funnier and more amazing than Shockmaster.
Oh, absolutely. No, you got to watch it every few years. You got to watch it again over and over. It's great.
The real white Bengal tiger approaches. I feel him. Just like, what the fuck were they thinking when they wrote this shit? But
drugs are bad, kids.
Oh man. Cool.
This match was retarded.
It's like what I was saying. It's just an ECW brawl with budget cameras. It's not too different from the one they did with the Nasties, Cactus, and Max Payne. Like I think this one was a little bit more violent.
Mm.
This one was better because Kevin Sullivan was in it instead of Max Payne.
Yeah.
He's a better worker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He immediately, like, very early into it, nails that pile driver out there on the ramp.
That's a good one.
That must have hurt. It looked really good. Yeah, like, it was a clean pile driver. Man. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what is there to say about this? It's just chaos, right? They beat the fucking shit out of each other, and then, like, forever. And then the match just randomly, like, I don't know if you have other notes. I'm probably just like shitting on your whole thing here, but like it's literally like 10, 15 minutes of them doing this random nonsense and just like failing to try to really follow them coherently. And then finally Sags takes Cactus back to the ring.
Best part of the match.
To like, yeah, he just takes it back to try to finish with like the jumping spot. I'll let you take over from here. I actually can't remember exactly the sequence of how that stops, and then.
Well, I think he was gonna grab the hockey stick.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah,
like they go back in the ring.
He goes up. That's right. He actually hits him on the top rope. But for some reason, I was thinking something interfered. He hits him and then he just kicks out and then he goes for the hockey stick. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he tries to steal his hockey stick.
No. I remember. I'm sorry. I remember what happened now. I never why it was so weird. He's gonna pin him and it looks like it's gonna be a 3. Sorry, I just remember why it was so odd. It looks like it's just going to be a clean, like, 3 count, right? But Schultz, like, botches getting down to actually pin. He takes a sweet-ass time, and he gets down. And right as he gets down to start counting, Sags just stands up and says, fuck it, I'm not going to pin him. And then, like, pushes him out of the way and then goes for the hockey stick. It was so fucking strange.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess he did that because in his mind he had to save the referee looking stupid.
Right. I get it, but it was too late. Like, it already looked really dumb. But, again, he is a special guest referee. He's there because of the whole fighting thing. It's whatever.
I'd say he got so caught up in the whole damn thing, he forgot he was supposed to count. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah, he goes to grab the stick, and then Schultz gets mad at him. So he, like, starts fucking like short punching him in the ribs and like pulling his shirt over his head and shit.
Dude, those are real punches, by the way.
I know. I was like, God damn, he's really hitting him. And then like Cactus gets up and he gets the hockey stick and he hits fucking Sags with it. And he gets 3. They won. They won the titles.
Yeah. And then after the match, Sags gets up and he's like by the rope. And then there's like Max Payne. I'm like, oh, there he is. And then whack, and then the disintegration of the guitar.
Yeah, it's like Sags was beating him down after because it was like I guess it only momentarily stunned him enough to get pinned, so he was pissed because he lost. And then like Yeah, Max Payne came out there to save his buddy Cactus. They're still buddies. I was actually kind of worried that they had a falling out.
Mm-hmm.
But no, for some reason, I like that they're friends. I don't know why.
What I couldn't get was why isn't Max Payne in the match?
Because he sucks.
But, I mean, they were a tag team, so I was trying to figure out why wouldn't he be in it? I wonder if this was him returning.
I spoke with my heart there, not my brain.
No, that's okay. Sometimes you got to do that. But I wondered if, in the story at least, the thing said he had to recruit Kevin Sullivan because Cactus had to recruit Kevin Sullivan to be his tag team partner because he didn't have anyone else to try to take on the Nasty Boys, and Kevin Sullivan obviously wanted to fight them because they were making fun of his brother. So.
Yeah, they're doing like mice of men bullshit. Like, George, can I tend the wabbits? Kind of thing.
That's enough out of you, buddy. Yeah. But yeah, what I actually wonder too is was he even supposed to come out, or did Max Payne just see all that and said, "Hold my beer"? And he was like, "No, I'm gonna go out there." And it looks like Jerry Sags maybe mildly concussed, but he does gets through it, and then he gets fucking fatality.
Yeah, my favorite part is when he comes out, because he's wearing such a long ass fucking robe, he actually had to untie his robes to show that he had an injured fucking leg before he kicked him. Sags was dead, by the way, but with the guitar shot. They were all in the ring, and I was like, "Is he dead?"
He dropped it was like Peter Griffin on Family Guy, the way he fucking hit the mat, and he did not budge an inch. He just stayed that way.
It made me wonder if he was legit hurt, how they were playing it out, because he just was not moving.
You shouldn't move after a guitar shot like that.
I agree, but normally the guys are out, but legit. I did wonder, okay, well, either he sold the shit out of that, or he really is hurt, because he took a bunch of shoot punches, and then he took the fucking hockey stick, and it's not to count all the other shit that just happened in the match, and then he took that, and that fucking, you guys already said it, the guitar got atomized.
When he hit him, the goddamn thing exploded, and there was a cloud of debris dust that came out. That's how hard he hit it.
You know that
it looked like a pyro went off.
You know that Simpsons episode where Homer goes to the fifth dimension? That's where the guitar went.
The guitar hitting him was a larger explosion than the exploding barbed wire death match on AEW.
It was.
I thought you were going to say it was a larger explosion since 9/11 in the Twin Towers.
Damn, wow.
It's okay, he can make that joke. He was there.
Now we need the meme of the guy going into Bush's ear and "Sir, Max Payne has used the guitar."
It's like how Wahoo McDaniel's actually allowed to make jokes about smallpox blankets.
Sorry, I gotta fix it, sir, Mr. President. The second Nasty Boy is down.
Mm-hmm.
Against the tower. Sorry. Well, you did this. It's your fault. I don't know why you had to bring that shit in.
Let me finish this story for the children.
The president is Colonel Robert Parker, by the way.
we must get Saddam.
So
I got to bring up, since we're talking about Robert Parker again, how fucking Bobby made that joke about him not running out of money because he got all that chicken money.
Chicken money? That's what popped Tony. He said that. That's right. That made me laugh too, though.
I also laughed. It was really funny. He's got that chicken money out of nowhere.
And then Tony, it's funny because Tony doesn't even say anything for a few seconds. He's like, chicken money. And he starts laughing.
That's what you know. When you know that he broke is whenever he says absolutely nothing to Bobby, and then 10 seconds later he just goes right back into play-by-play without a beat. Doesn't mention anything that was been said. He just goes on as if whatever Bobby said didn't happen. That's how you know. Or he just outright, when it's really good, he's like, "I'm sorry, fans." He just apologizes.
Sorry.
He's just a professional.
Where'd you get the match?
Yeah.
Oh man. So I almost want to give it more to like, adding the end, but it's weird. Like taking post match stuff like that into it, I don't know. Like if I could give that something, it's odd.
can.
This was a clusterfuck, but I was kind of entertained. But I know
Yeah.
it wasn't good, so I was very generous. I gave it a 4.6.
Oh, I gave
Like-
it average. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
I give it a
Okay.
5 too. 'Cause
Okay,
That's what I was gonna say earlier. A little.
into a 5. I'll conform because I was entertained, and now we talked about it more. I actually think more fondly of the match itself.
Dude, that
I-
Kevin
one
Sullivan
more
thing, I
time,
can't
the Kev-
wait.
The Kevin Sullivan background actually helps a lot. He's just not a random guy. He was there to defend his dyslexic brother.
This this is a whole long-term angle. This is happening, but no,
It's
like,
a cut
I'm-
angle.
cut angle. But I was gonna say, like, the whole thing about this is like it was a little bit of a clusterfuck, but at the same time, because the higher budget and who's involved, you can follow it better. Like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff does register. I mean, they hit each other's shit. Yeah, they do shit I don't like either, like the walk around holding the guy's head thing.
Yeah.
But
Hey, but guess what? For people who are watching, Stone Cold in prime Attitude Era, he did that shit too. He drugged some bitches all around the fucking arena. It didn't make any fucking sense.
that's because he got to be God over, and when you get God over, you can just get away with anything, though.
Yeah,
That's
Shawn
the
Michaels
thing.
couldn't get got over. They still
No.
lost a tag match.
Yeah, Vince wouldn't let God go over either.
Let me announce from the kingdom of heaven, God. And then like the spotlight comes, and his whole reaction, he's just like,
Dude, if we still have this podcast going and we get to that era, I can't wait, dude. Like early 2000s was wild in WWE.
That was my prime like understanding of things. Like I was the most me into wrestling between the time of like 2000 to like 2004, 2005. That's gonna be a wild time to review fucking wrestling. I cannot wait.
Especially when JBL is yelling at Mexicans to go back.
go back to where you came from. Fucking no. But I want to say real quick, after the match was over, they're like talking, like Tony and Bobby are like talking, the camera's on them, and Tony called it a trash can match after it was over. And he's like been laughing and shit the whole time. And I'm like, his reaction actually really reminds me of like his reaction to stuff that happens on AEW. It's like he doesn't really know what to say, so he just laughs about it.
Well, this whole match got think about it. We have new tag champions. Not only did Tony bury the match, but fucking Vern Gagne fucking buried the match after that.
Yeah, well, Lou Thesz actually didn't. It was kind of funny because I thought he might too, but he was like, "That's just the way things are now."
I don't know. I felt like he almost buried it more by saying it that way. Like, the way he said it, it's like, well, you just gotta take it because shit sucks and it is what it is. They don't do it like they used to. Where Vern doesn't he buries it, but it's still in a way that like it fits the story. Like again, thinking in the mold of they're doing that whole thing of Cactus Jack needs to be banned from WCW. They're trying to play it off like there's this whole real thing of he's just bringing all this chaos and fighting to wrestling, and we don't need this. And Vern just was kind of appealing to that and the whole idea of he's just really tarnishing the sport. Like he buries it, but maybe not like so much in a shoot way. Like
And
he might
that's
really
it,
mean
tags.
it, but it fits.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny, but
No, I agree. The trash can match thing was, yeah. It's like, damn. Okay.
main event time. Vader, Harley Race gets Sting for the WCW International Heavyweight Championship.
Dude, Vader was fucking all in. Dude, his entrance was fucking amazing.
Vader's always all in.
Mm-hmm.
He's full bore all the time.
He's doing a fucking shake, rattle, and roll like a shimmy thing he was doing. It was like great. I love
He's
it.
doing it like I got a lot to say about their interactions, but like
Oh, there's a lot of really good ones.
yeah, like so they start out, they're sizing each other up. I like this. And like Vader's trying to like swing at Sting and get him, and like Sting keeps ducking and dodging him. And then this is where the Sting must die chant starts. So,
Sting must die. Sting must die.
well, I mean, what happens whenever Vader actually gets a hold of somebody? they fucking die. It's like he like
Fair.
hammers the shit out of you, basically. And that's what happens. He finally catches Sting in the corner and he starts fucking beating the shit out of him. And that goes on for a bit until Sting actually hits his own little flurry of blows there, punches and kicks. And then he makes Vader woozy and he kind of falls through the ropes to the apron and he pulls his mask off and he's mad. And
yeah.
then,
So before that though, early on when they're still doing the interaction before Vader actually gets the better of him and pummels him, when they're going back and forth, there's a little thing that that Sting does to Vader that pisses him off. He like bows to him.
yeah.
And they even call it out in the announcing thing. It's like, why did he do that? That was strange. He's like, oh, I guess he's like appealing to his what did he say? I don't think he said Oriental. He said something like Eastern side or something. Like they referenced basically because he was in Japan for so long, like it was that. But it seemed like it was a little bit of an insult while he was like dodging him. It was kind of like a heelish move, and then that's when the Sting must die chants really get like loud. Like Sting's kind of being a dick.
I thought Vader did the bow, not Sting.
Oh no, I thought that they had said that Sting did the bow because I didn't see, you can't see it, like they didn't announce it. Like I thought Sting did the bow, like while he was dodging Vader. Maybe I have it backwards. And maybe it was Vader, and I just like context. I had it wrong because they were yelling "Sting must die."
Sting.
I Bernstein the whole fucking match apparently.
Well, they when they were locking up and shit, he backed Sting into the ropes, and then he like fucked with him, backed up, and went like.
Oh, okay. That's what they must be referencing then. Okay. Yeah, I thought that it was the other way around. I thought that it was when he was dodging that Sting backed up and then did it. But that makes more sense that Vader would do it. I thought it was weird too, though, because the way they said it was odd. Like,
yeah, because Vader doesn't typically do stuff like that.
Like the show off or yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't really showboat. Like his showboating is just beating the fuck out of you.
This is more death.
Pretty much. But like, let's see. Yeah, Harley's talking to Vader out there and gets him back in the ring after he fell out there, and then Sting, like as soon as he gets back in, Sting just muscles him up and suplexes him out of nowhere.
I like that. First, Bobby Heenan says nice haircut. They talk about Vader's hair and shit because of the mask and all that stuff.
The reverse mohawk.
Yeah, and then when Sting sets up the suplex, Bobby Heenan says, "Good luck," and then Sting fucking has Vader in the air. He's like, "Oh my god!"
It's like, "Oh my god!" And then Tony's like, "What a move!" He's like, "Yeah, but he hurt his back because Sting was selling his back after he did it."
Mm-hmm.
But like Vader gets back on his feet, and then Sting tries to clothesline him, and it just doesn't have an effect. And then he tries again, and then Vader just kind of blocks it. He just kind of like moves into it, and it doesn't do anything. And then Sting goes, "Ah!" And he like fucking flexes and roars like he's just psyching himself up. And he goes for it again, and then Vader just body blocks him and drops him. I thought that was kind of funny. And then it starts. Vader hits the elbow to the nutsack. It's like he landed in the right position, and he was like, "You're bam." And then Sting, he doesn't quite do the Nate cell, the where he's screaming for God because his swimmers are dying. But
he does scream. Like there's a couple of times where he screams out, and it's like, oh, okay.
That's when he puts him in submissions, which was like really interesting. Vader hits a couple Vader bombs. He doesn't really pin Sting because he's like too close to the ropes or he's not covering him right. So Vader gets him down again, and he puts on like a leg hold, like a grapevine thing, and that's what Sting's like, "Ah!" Like, oh my god, which makes sense. I mean, you got like a 450-pound dude putting a submission on you. That's probably going to hurt a lot more than typically does. And then Vader turns into like a grounded abdominal stretch, which again, that's weird because you don't really see him do stuff like this.
Yeah, this whole match was like weird. Like
it was cool though.
Yeah, it was cool. Weird. Like Vader's very animated. He's doing submission moves, and it's just wild.
I like it's because he realizes, just like any other good wrestler does, it's like, all right, we're fighting again. How are we going to make it different this time?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they do. They manage to make it different every time. That's why I like watching these two guys wrestle every time. Every time I hear Sting versus Vader, I'm like, that's going to be a great match. I don't even have to think about it that much.
Yeah, you're not just watching the same fight each time. It's almost like two people that fight all the time in big main events, like over the last like several years. Now could probably learn something from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I won't mention names. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Never mind. I said it.
Or every John Moxley match.
Well, he's supposed to bleed, except his bleeding's
Yeah.
been banned. He's got to get permission now.
He forgot more about wrestling than he ever learned about it somehow. Figure that out.
That's what
it's
happens
true.
with blood loss.
But it's true. It's if you actually think about his trajectory of like what he was doing and like where he ended up, where he's at right now. Somehow he forgot even more about wrestling than he ever seemed to actually learn and retain.
Sorry, I gotta go on a weird tangent real quick before we get back to the end this amazing match.
Okay.
So on AEW, they're beating up fucking the Elite. Well, actually, they're beating up Kenny Omega, and
Still,
Pac is gonna be on fucking the other group with John Moxley and shit.
pockets?
Yeah,
Pac.
the bastard
Pac.
Oh,
Pac,
Pac.
yeah.
I thought you said pockets. Sorry.
No. So Pac is about to do his like whatever green or red arrow bullshit onto
Black
Ken-
Arrow.
Black
Yeah.
Arrow. Get your colors right.
Yeah, so like the chair is like on Kenny's neck, and then Kenny does like a weird promo where he's like struggling. He's like, oh, "Go look at the screen," and then that's when Kota Ibushi's fucking announcement happened. I was like, in real life, if you're about to fuck up a dude, just fuck him up. Who cares if he's speaking? That's all. That's all I wanted to bring up.
Oh, you can't be too mad at that. That's just wrestling. That happens all the time.
He was on the ground though, and he was doing his anime weeaboo fucking acting thing on the ground.
I mean,
I know what you're saying though. Yeah, actually,
It was cheesy. Like, just fuck him up.
it's Kenny.
Yeah.
He's got to do his anime promos.
Mhm. All right, back to goodness.
Sting doesn't give up from these submissions, so Vader just starts beating the shit out of him, calling him a punk. He's like, and now he's working his legs. He's like kicking him in the hamstrings, which again has to hurt because this giant man is kicking you in the leg.
Yeah.
And then he puts on another leg lock, like it's kind of like a kneeling, sitting leg lock deal. And then Sting fights out of that one. Vader pushes him in the corner and he starts blasting him again. And then Sting just goes ape shit. He just goes, oh! He just starts swinging and everything. He's like just trying to hit him with whatever he can swing. And then he hits like a big haymaker, which actually drops Vader. And then he does the jumping, the screaming Lex Luger elbow drop, but he did not scream. That's why it didn't hurt as much. It hurt him more.
yeah, it hurts more whenever you let all your anger out, like you go Super Saiyan midair.
Yeah, he didn't do that part, so it hurt. And Vader got up before him because of that. So he does more big fat man elbow drops, and he's beating on him some more. And Sting tries to come back, and he does a little bit, and then he goes for a flying clothesline, but Vader ducked it, and Sting just kills the referee instead. And then Sting's like, oh shit, he realizes what happened. And he turns right around to go get Vader. And then Vader does like one of the best choke slams I've ever seen.
Jesus Christ, that choke slam is so fucking good. Just one-handed, fucking dunks him.
And he goes, and he got real high in there. And the best part though was like when he hit the mat, he almost folded up. Just like
well, Sting even again, it's both guys, right? Sting even sells. He is so high and gets so much momentum. He it's almost like, you know how Baron Corbin does the end of days where he swings them and then uses the momentum to bring them down. He swings back and then just falls. It's like where he almost lands the wrong way. It looks so fucking good.
It was awesome. It was almost like a good Kane choke slam. You know when he hit those really good ones?
Oh yeah.
When he was in his prime and he was on the gas, fuck.
Yeah.
But anyway, he pins him, and this is an interesting part of the match. He got him for like 10 seconds. He had him beat off that choke slam, and Harley starts shouting for Vader to pick Sting up because he's like, the ref's dead, get him, and then he grabs a chair, and he goes to swing at Sting, but he ducks and he hits Vader in the head instead, and then Sting punches Harley, and then he goes for Vader, who's like, oh, he's like hunched over, and he DDTs him. He gets a 2 though.
Mm.
So that's pretty. Vader kicked out of a chair shot and a DDT.
Yeah, and that was cool because the ref like got up right at the same time. It actually looked like it was going to be the finish, and then he kicked out. So it did look really good. It was a good setup.
It was a good near fall. Sting goes nuts, and he just starts clotheslining Vader over the ropes. Like he clotheslines him over. Vader gets back in. Sting just shoots him off again and clotheslines him over again on the other side.
Well, doesn't he do something like he clotheslines him on the one, and then he gets on the other side on the outside and like suplexes him back into the ring?
Yeah, he suplexed him back in the ring and did it again.
Yeah, it was fucking cool. I was like, God damn! Like
Sting was big, man. That's why I keep saying Surfer Sting is like prime Sting in terms of like his in-ring performance.
oh yeah, I mean he was
God.
well like when he started and shit, he was like partners like way back before he got really into WCW. He was like with Ultimate Warrior. Those two were fucking juiced, man.
The
Like
Blade
Sting's
Runners.
a big motherfucker.
Cocaine and
He's big.
steroids.
But yeah, no, he's fucking jacked. But he threw him back in the ring and then clotheslined him again.
And then Harley's like shouting to Vader, like, you gotta get back in there and get him. And then Vader's like, all right, Dad. And he like pulls himself up, gets back in there. And then Sting sees him, and like he positioned us like he was ready. And he ran for like the Stinger splash. And Vader caught him in midair and just goes, wham, just lands on him like a front slam. And then he goes to cover Sting, but he's not doing it right. And then Harley's yelling at him. He's like, do the moonsault. And then he's like, okay. So he goes up there to do the moonsault. And then he does it, but he misses. Sting rolls over to pin him. And then Harley's like, oh shit. And so he climbs up on the top rope and does a diving headbutt, but Sting got out of the way. So he hit Vader like right in the eye. It looked like. He was like, oh! He was like holding his eyeball. And then Sting quickly gets up to the top rope as Randy Anderson, not Randy Peterson.
Dude, he went over him.
Like, this all happened in like the space of like 5 seconds. Like, Randy Anderson pushed Harley Race out of the fucking ring. Like, he shoved him out of the ring. And then Sting like ran up to the top rope and hits the super Stinger splash. Oh, and he jumps over him. Yeah, and he hits and he got 3. And I'm like, yeah, it was fucking awesome.
You want to know something really cool? You want to know something really awesome in this match? So just let's be honest. What is a super Stinger splash? It's just a splash. It's if the guy was standing up, it's just a crossbody, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a splash from the top rope.
It's just a big splash. Sting and Ric Flair won both of the big titles on the show with a crossbody or a splash.
In Sting's case, it is more established that he will win with that move than Ric Flair.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Yeah, right. Like, it's actually his move and stuff. I get it. I just meant like it's just cool. I don't mean it like in a weird way. I mean it's cool.
No,
like,
yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah,
it's a result.
Both of them came out. Both of them came out and cut promos, dressed up like very professionally, very 90s, like they're the baby faces. Make themselves look like the good guys. They both come out on top in their win against big bad men, and they both do it with this big over the top move. It's cool symmetry. Like to me, that's a cool thing versus like the repeating like really hokey spots that like have diminishing returns because they're still done in different ways. So I was pointing it out as a compliment, not like oh they did the same thing. That's dumb. Like
no, yeah, I didn't take it that way. Yeah,
no, I thought it was really cool. I thought this match was so much fun. Fucking, I loved Thurman Merman's involvement. Fucking
match of the night.
Oh, absolutely,
great, man.
Yeah. I'm really high on this match. I'm a little worried. I'm like way overshooting how good this match was, but I want to hear what you guys go first.
Okay, I go first. I'm always entertained with Vader. And when it's a Vader and Sting match, you know you're going to get a fully completed, nice worked match. I gave this an 8.7 out of 10.
I really like this match. Like I said earlier, I like whenever Sting and Vader come together. It's great. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup for wrestling. Except it's like the king size ones, because like you said, every time that they do a match, it's like gonna go 20 plus minutes. They're gonna take you on some kind of fucking crazy ride, and they're both gonna do crazy shit to each other. I give us 8.6 out of 10.
Yeah. So little thing about this, me being a little Stinger, I was 5. Actually, I wasn't even 5. I was 4. I was about to turn 5. I remember watching this as a kid, like very specifically this match. Like this was like one of my first wrestling moments as a kid. I specifically remember the whole like ending with him flipping him over and then landing the big splash after Harley Race like fell on him. Because I just remember when I was older, I was like, "Who's that old Chia Pet looking man that fell on Vader?" Who it was, right? So like, there's a nostalgia there for me. It's on top of it. I gave this a 9.3. Biased there, probably isn't that good, but yeah, I really love this match.
At least he confirmed it. But
Yeah.
It was great. It was a great match. After it's over, like the Tony and Bobby are kind of talking about the overall show, and they pan out and they show like a wide shot of the arena, and you see Harley and Vader hug it out in the middle of the arena. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's not bad. He's just like, we'll get him next time, brother. Fuck them.
Yeah, but they do that like almost cute moment, and then like as they're talking, Vader just goes up to Tony and fucking Bobby and like threaten them.
Yeah, he goes over to Tony like while he's talking on the PA system, and he's like, I didn't lose. Tell him I didn't lose. What do you think you should say? Bobby's like, I agree with you. You didn't lose.
And then Tony just keeps going on and is like, up, there goes Vader again, just leaving angry and disappointed. And then Bobby's like, are you stupid? When he tells you to say something, say it. He'll murder you.
It was a pretty decent show. There was just one bad match in it, really.
Yeah, honestly, we only have 2 matches that we had below 6.
Yeah, and one of them was still okay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine for what it was, kind of thing. And between that, there was like good promos and moments like scattered throughout the show. I think the title unification is going to happen pretty soon, too, with Sting and Flair.
Yeah, I don't like the WCW like World Heavyweight Championship. It looks, I don't know, not that great.
You talking about the one Flair's got?
Yeah.
He has the international one, all right? Or no, he has the world, and then Vader and Sting just fought for international. I mean, that's big gold. That's the one that we all get to know. Yeah,
That's big gold right there. Yeah, so the other one's okay. It's just it feels kind of derivative of the Eagle belt. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what it's even got an eagle and shit on it. It's like just not as good looking.
They're just trying to like be that one, which I'm trying to remember. I'm so dumb. Which one of those is the one that was the NWA that turned into the WCW belt? It's the one that Flair has, right?
It's big gold, yeah. See, like they retired the
big gold's the one that was the retired NWA.
Yeah. So like they retired the 10 pounds of gold before that, and that was the NWA championship.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's
what I thought. Barry Windham won it.
Yeah. Right. No, I thought that was it. I wanted to make sure I didn't have it backwards since like they're flip flopping. It's a little confusing with the two, but then like you said, they're going to unify them really soon.
So we're going to get Sting and Flair.
Yeah.
It's fucking
We're going to see that sometime soon. I don't know when it is, but I think it's within the next few months. I think it might happen over summer or early fall.
And doesn't Rick go against Hogan?
That not yet. I don't think.
Yeah, it's a little bit later.
But I gave this show 6.6 out of 10.
Okay, I'm. Oh, go ahead, Dubs. I'll do my.
Yeah, I think I went a little higher. I was entertained by this. I mean, if you take out the legend stuff, even though like some shit was funny that they said during the thing, especially with Wahoo and Vergagne and all that stuff, and Crusher talking about banging fucking 250-pound women at a while having beer and polka with fucking Mean Gene, and then having this amazing match at the end. I gave this a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think at least from what we've watched, I think this might be the best WCW like show that I've watched with you guys so far. Like just like across the board. Like we have one stinker, but usually we have 2 or 3 stinkers. We have one match that's like it's just there, it's serviceable, but then every other match is just good. Like at minimum, like they're just good matches to like great. And there's a lot of just little stuff going on. There's nods to other things. There's a good variety. With the legend stuff, I didn't even mind like the Hall of Fame thing. It almost was like a refreshing thing to break up everything.
It's like intermission.
Yeah, like it wasn't bad. Like and then of course I just have a lot of nostalgia specifically for the main event. That's a huge thing for me, so I'm a little biased there. But no, I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. I thought it was really really good. I gave it a 7.7.
Oh wow,
I was very high on it. Yeah.
I wish you were here like in the beginning when we were doing WCW Saturday Night, because they were fucking owning WWF Raw for a while.
Yeah, it would have been good to see, but like the thing for me now, like now that we are watching, I'm starting to watch things that I remember watching. Like, and I don't mean like I went back and watched them because I was told to watch them at some point or when I was older. Like these are the things I grew up watching when I was a kid. Like I got my scars because I was jumping off of couches and shit and getting concussions because I was trying to be like fucking Thurman Merman doing headbutts and shit, or stinger splashes on my little wrestling buddies. So this is the stuff I remember watching now. So I actually have memory of matches, which is really cool. Like that I'll like when we go on watching other stuff, I'm not gonna remember everything, but I'm gonna have bits of that same stuff where I remember watching it when I was a little kid. So I think it's just gonna be a really really cool thing to see. It's just like we were talking before, like going to Attitude Era and stuff. We're going to think fondly of it because we've seen those things so many times and we watched them when they first happened. So it's kind of cool.
Nice. So what do we got next?
I'm pulling that up right now. I want to make sure I don't want to misspeak. So vamp for a minute.
Vamp? Like Metal Gear Solid 2?
Like,
bisexual vamp?
If you want, that's up to you.
I don't.
No judgment here.
Dude, that game's fucking cool, by the way. That's my favorite Metal Gear Solid 2. Sun Delivery.
It's a great game.
It's a great game.
No. I really like it. It's just like it's hard for me to say like it's not my favorite, but I really love that game.
I saw a funny. Sorry, okay. I just want to point this out. I saw a funny meme of Hulk Hogan like doing chair shots to fucking the Big Show, and the caption says "How the non-alcoholic beer hits," and it's just a tap on the head.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fucking Hogan. So next is King of the Ring, June 1994, June 19th, 1994, and we floated the idea of maybe trying to do Clash of the Champions on the same episode because those are TV specials that are shorter than a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll play it by ear, see what way the wind is blowing in terms of schedules.
Yeah. Okay,
that's probably a good idea because King of the Ring might be pretty long too.
It could be, depending on what happens. I know who wins it.
Yeah, so. Same.
Owen, right? Sorry, sorry for the spoiler, but like,
it's King Owen.
It's King Owen. It sets up the SummerSlam match with Brett.
It sets up the whole feud. It helps further set up the whole feud for the year. He's like, Brett, I beat you at WrestleMania, and I became King of the Ring too. You're not the best. I'm the best. I can imagine the promos right now.
All right, so yeah, just keep an ear out or an eye out for when we talk about either King of the Ring or both King of the Ring and WCW Clash of Champions. King of the Ring is June 19th, 1994, and Clash of Champions is on my birthday, and Chaz's birthday, June 23rd, 1994.
I've also got an event that takes place on my birthday in the year 1994. It's Halloween Havoc, October 23rd, 1994.
There you go.
Are they gonna spin the wheel, make a deal?
Oh shit!
Oh God.
Surprise! Happy birthday!
All right. Well, we're gonna end it here. Catch all our podcasts. Big Trouble, Getting Some Color. We got to get back in the Lost and Nightmares for Resident Evil 4 remake.
Well, I'm waiting on that damn DLC. Like Capcom's like fucking being real like stingy about it for some reason.
Yeah. Well, what's coming up? Tokyo Game Show is coming up next. Maybe they'll announce it.
God, I hope so. I'm starting
Yeah.
to think it won't come out till October if it's going to come out at all this year.
I'd rather wait for the DLC so we could all do it in one big shot and it's relevant during that time.
Yeah, I kind of thought we telepathically agreed on that. So
Yep. All right.
Telepathic agreement.
All right, guys. Well, catch us on next time, and to remember to get some color. And you know what? We're gonna do an oldie but a goodie. And since we talked about the guy stabbing with scissors, here we go.